And Solanke are out injured, Sarr drops to the bench, so Vicario in goal, a back four of Porro, who recovered from an ankle knock, Romero, Van de Ven and Udogie, Madison, Basuma, Son, Odobert, Johnson and Kulusevski. White shirts with the navy sleeves and the navy shorts against an Everton side in their dark away strip, who have made the one change. And as Anthony Taylor gets ready to blow his whistle, that change is Roman Dixon, making his debut, the teenager, at right back for the suspended Ashley Young. Pickford then in goal, Roman Dixon, Keane, Tarkowski and Mikolenko, Decore, Gay, Irabunen, Harrison, McNeil and Calvert-Lewin. As we're underway with Tottenham Hotspur attacking that towering south stand away towards our right-hand side, playing from left to right, that single tier that holds 17,500. As Spurs, with this attack-minded side, as Pat Nevin quite rightly says, and straight away on that far side, they have forced Everton back. It could be a long afternoon for Everton.
A bit hard-working afternoon as well for the likes of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Might not get a lot of the ball, so when he needs to get hold of it when he's got a chance to allow his players to get a little bit of rest. But they've started exactly the way that Ange Postecoglou wants them to start. Front foot, on the ball. Have Everton had a touch yet?
Not at the moment. Mind you, I did the corresponding fixture here just before Christmas, as that ball is given away cheaply by Romero and seized upon by McNeil, and the ball through towards Calvert-Lewin, goes behind him midway through the Tottenham half, and Van de Ven is back to cover. And Vicario made a number of fine saves. Calvert-Lewin actually had a goal ruled out. Garner hit the post, and Everton could count themselves a little unfortunate to have only lost that game by 2-1 last season.
You know, Everton are a tough nut to crack, and they always are, you know, generally under Sean Dyche, so, you know, nothing taken for granted.
Ball forward to Madison. Madison sends over across. Oh, and Tarkowski falling into the penalty area, got enough towards Johnson to take it away from goal. Johnson delivers the cross. Behind it goes for a corner to Tottenham. Goal at Watford, Flo Pollock.
Fast start, it's Watford 0, Derby 1. Ebu Adams, edge of the box shot, straight in. Watford 0, Derby 1.
Equally a fast start at the Riverside, also in the Championship, because Portsmouth have taken the lead. Middlesbrough 0, Portsmouth 1. Two early goals in the Championship on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Spurs have a corner kick near side the right. Kulusevski to take it, fired in. Romero tried to get on it, 8 yards out, headed out by Decore. Comes towards Porro, can't control it. Son hooks it in. Opportunity here, beaten out by Pickford. Comes towards Madison. It was Romero who actually had the initial shot that was straight at Pickford. Strong wrist to repel it.
It already feels as if Everton may survive here. Two great opportunities. That one we've just seen, and just before that, Madison's cross between the centre-back and the goalkeeper was magnificent. Just no takers in the middle there, under pressure, and beginning to shake a little bit already, Everton.
Here is Madison from the throw. Just turns away from Decore, holds on to the ball. Passes it to Basuma, keeps it in play on the right touchline. Porro is ahead of him, level now with the penalty area. Porro with a cross, and arriving at the far post was Odobert, and it just bounced in front of the Tottenham Hotspur debutant, and away it goes.
Well done, young Dixon there. First thing he's been asked to do, really. The ball's flew into the back post. It's a tough one. He doesn't want to touch it there because he could go for an own goal. He's left it even though he knows there's a Spurs player behind him. Really clever, that. Good moment for him.
Well, Julia Bold, who was reporting at Stockport earlier on, as Stockport remained top of League One with a third successive win, beating Bristol Rovers by 2-0, was telling me that Sean Dyche was at Prenton Park. He played the full 90 minutes in that Football League Trophy game in midweek against Tranmere Rovers. He's been at the academy since the under-12 level. He's quick, he's powerful, signed a new 3-year deal in the summer, and it is a debut for the 19-year-old. As meanwhile Mikolenko has to turn because Johnson was round the back of him, and Pickford came out of his penalty area and puts it out of play for a throw. Exeter lead Peterborough by 1-0 in League One. Spurs, though, have started with a really quick tempo in these opening 4 minutes. Basuma blocked by McNeil, and Everton having to dig in, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, it's really hard work there. By the way, we mentioned Julia. She knows everything that's going on up there in the northwest. She's fantastically covering Tranmere and Everton, but she's right, and the young lad's playing at full back there. Yes, he's quick, but he's also not the tallest, and that's the other thing that you'll be watching. Oh, Pickford nearly caught by Son there. just gets away with it.
He looks towards the referee. Son was in pursuit, putting pressure on the England goalkeeper. We welcome listeners to the BBC World Service wherever you are in the world. It's a pleasure to have your company here in North London, the home of Tottenham Hotspur, as the rain, the incessant rain, continues to fall. 0-0 between Tottenham and Everton. No goals anywhere so far in the top flight in the 3 o'clock games. Earlier, Brighton and Hove Albion beat Manchester United by 2-1. Cambridge United 0, Blackpool 1 is a scoreline in League One at the Abbey Stadium as the ball goes out to Odobert. Over on that far side, there's a little step over, inside towards Madison, touches it back to Odobert, tried to deliver the low cross, turned behind again, and the pressure is unrelenting from Tottenham as they get another corner kick.
It's not just down the left-hand side, it's both sides handed through the middle as well. But Odobert, he looks sharp there, doesn't he? Really slick play there on a slick surface by Spurs. They're causing Everton all sorts of problems, and we're going to have sore necks here because we have not looked left once.
Corner kick, played in towards Odobert, makes that run away from the near post. And then the ball is worked inside towards Son, edge of the area. Tarkowski came out, quickly gets back into his defensive line. Back it goes to Son, who's now on mark, shoots, takes a deflection. Pickford flying save away to his right, turns it behind for a corner. All Tottenham.
Yeah, well, you could see the cameraman like that one. He should save that one. He's flown over to his right-hand side and pushed it away. But they're lining up now, Spurs, and it's one of those ones where psychological, if you're Everton, every minute you're falling back another 10 yards. They'll be in the stand in 2 minutes' time if we don't get out soon.
Another corner kick, far side to left, playing from left to right. Bit of elevation this time. Pickford comes, can't get there on the edge of his 6-yard area, and Mikolenko will just clear the ball, but everybody was back for Everton, and in the end it will be Udogie who comes across to this near side to right on the halfway line to retrieve it, back towards Vicario, all in yellow. The only thing I'd say about Tottenham is that they've actually equalled a club record in the Premier League of 15 successive home games without a clean sheet. The longest run before that was back in the 50s, April 1955 to February 1956. So it's something that...
So do you know, that doesn't surprise me.
No.
Not even slightly, because that's Ansball.
Yes.
That's the way he plays. And he would almost, he won't enjoy it, but he'll accept it, that is part of their play. If you play that open, you will give away chances, you will give away goals, and the argument being, yeah, but we'll score more. Simple as that.
Leyton Orient 0, Birmingham City 1 is the latest score in League One, and Peterborough United have got themselves an equaliser. So Exeter City 1, Peterborough 1 is also a latest scoreline in League One. 0-0 here at Tottenham as the rain increases in its intensity, and we'll get news of St Helens and Hull KR where there's been a try. Richard Stead in the Rugby League.
Yeah, it just took 3 minutes for the league leaders to score, Ian. Joe Burgess in at the corner, not converted by Mikey Lewis, but it's St Helens 0, Hull Kingston Rovers 4.
Romero just walking, passes the ball and forces Van der Ven wide. Let's get a golf update. Ian Carter.
Nelly Corder back to the top of the leaderboard with a birdie at the third, that after dropping shots at the first 2 holes. So briefly Charlie Hull in a share of the lead. It's Corder at 7 under, Hull 6 under.
And the first goal in the Premier League is at the home of the champions, Will Perry.
This isn't what the script said. Manchester City 0, Ipswich 1. What a start to life in an Ipswich shirt for Sammy Smodics, who's rolled the ball through the legs of Edison, allowed to burst past the Manchester City defence, and it's cracked over the line to give Ipswich the lead. City 0, Ipswich 1.
That is a surprising scoreline, bearing in mind that Manchester City are unbeaten in 44 home games in all competitions since Brentford triumphed there in November 2022.
Is there such a thing as scoring too early?
I nearly posed you that same question.
Exactly.
I have a feeling they might have poked the bear.
I think so.
But anyway, Ipswich are ahead, and the first goal since his arrival from Blackburn. So the first goal in the 3 o'clock games, because of course earlier at the Amex, Brighton beat Manchester United by 2-1. 0-0 here. What have you made of these opening 9 minutes? It just seems to have settled down a bit.
Yeah, and I think Sean Dyche will be delighted with that, because, you know, 7 minutes or so, nearly 8 minutes of solid, pure pressure, a real high pace. But, you know, it's calmed down a little bit, not moving it as quickly just now. And I think Sean Dyche should be quite pleased with that.
Tarkowski hits the early ball, acrobatically hooked away by Van der Ven. Picked up though by Irabunu, who now makes that run back in towards the penalty area. Look for the cutback, and a sliding Romero blocks it. Last touch though came back off the Everton player. It'll be a goal kick. Let's get an update from St Mary's then, Lee Blakeman.
Southampton 0, Forest 0, all Forest though. Elanga with a through ball, Gibbs White shot in behind was blocked. Wood scuffed one straight at McCarthy, and Nico Williams has had one blocked by McCarthy as well. All Forest, Southampton 0, Forest 0 though.
This is 5 Live, the World Service, also available on BBC Sounds. Tottenham Hotspur 0, Everton 0 here this Saturday afternoon. Spurs go back. We'll go to Crystal Palace next. Conor McNamara.
Crystal Palace 0, West Ham 0, one dangerous chance each. First for West Ham, a Thomas Souček headed from a corner, flew just wide. Then an Eze shot for Palace, deflected onto the roof of the net. Crystal Palace 0, West Ham 0.
We're staying in the capital. Chris Coles at Fulham.
Fulham 0, Leicester 0. Lively start, chances for both for Fulham. Traore onto his left foot, fierce shot, well turned behind by Hermansen and deckled over Reed. Formerly of Fulham, now for Leicester, shooting from the edge of the area, well saved by Leno. Fulham 0, Leicester 0.
Ball played over the top. Maddison, the flag had stayed down, had the effort, and it was saved by Pickford, who has a look across at the assistant referee on this near side. But he must have timed that run perfectly, Maddison. Good save in the end.
Certainly in the eyes of the assistant referee, he did that. But look, you have to play on. Everyone knows. VAR will have a look at it. Don't worry about it. Deal with it.
Ball played forward. And Tottenham are attacking with Odegaard on that far side, the left. Odegaard waits to deliver the cross. Middlesbrough equalised, incidentally, at home to Portsmouth. 1-1 in the Championship. Out it goes towards Maddison. Maddison fires over the cross. And the two headers, actually, the little flick on first by Udogie, then it came to Johnson, heads it wide, and it goes behind and out for a goal kick. Hibs 0, Dundee 1 is a latest score in the Scottish Premiership, and there have been developments at Valley Parade, Naspremji.
Bradford 1, Bromley 0. Charles sent off for Bromley for a deliberate handball. Richie Smallwood with a spot kick. Bradford City 1, Bromley 0.
Bromley under Andy Woodman, who'd won their opening 2 games on their promotion to the Football League, and will skirt over that goal at Easter Road.
Yes, we shall do it. Actually, Dundee have had a very good start to the season. Just a little word on that offside, inverted commas, by Maddison. Wasn't perfectly timed run. Got lots and lots of space. Maddison has started brilliantly.
So Pickford has made 2 worthwhile saves for Everton as Kulusevski makes good progress down this right-hand side and wins a corner. Did superbly there, Kulusevski.
He's got such delightful feet, and he is a tall man. There should be a law against wingers being that tall and that physical. But, brilliant feet there. Little nutmeg at the start of the move, and he's played the corner quickly.
He has. He finds Porro, right corner of the area, delivers the ball, headed out by Keane inside that back line for Everton. Another header out this time by Lee Dixon, Roman Dixon, the Everton right back. Here is Son coming forward. Odegaard waits as the rain continues to pour down. It gets a little darker actually now. Leaden skies here in North London as Basuma.
I was going to say, don't use language like that around here. Lee Dixon?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Good play by Udogie with a cutback. Cleared away by Idrissa Gueye. McNeil keeps the ball in play. No, he doesn't. It'll be a throw. There's a penalty now at Manchester City, Will Perry.
Yeah, it's City 0, Ipswich 1, but Haaland has the ball on the spot. Savino taken down by Leif Davis. Sam Allison, who's been promoted from 4th official because of an injury to Michael Salisbury, initially said no. So referee's call, but VAR intervened. He had a look at the screen. Here's Haaland, bottom left corner, rolls it in. Manchester City, as you said, the bear was poked and they've bitten. It's 1-1.
And Haaland rarely misses from the spot. Goal at the Valley now in League One. Rich Wolfenden.
Yeah, it's Luke Berry. He scored the winner for Charlton against Leyton Orient last weekend, and he's put them ahead early doors after a terrible mistake by the Bolton defender Santos. 1-0 to Charlton.
Newport County lead Accrington by a goal to 0 in League Two. You're up to date with the goals as they go in on BBC Radio 5 Live. Maddison rolls it towards Porro. Playing inverted, the right back midway through the Everton half, then out towards Johnson on this near side, the right, links up with Kulusevski. Johnson then lays it off towards Maddison. Kulusevski looks for a shooting opportunity onto his left foot, pulls it back. Basuma hits it first time, right footed, and off the underside of the crossbar. And Yves Basuma has scored his first Tottenham Hotspur goal, and his first goal since April 2022, and it was an absolute cracker.
Yeah, it was a cracker. I mean, he's caught it so well on the slick surface. He's going to catch it well. the fact that it hits off the underside of the bar, that makes it look that much better. Pickford is wasting his time even going for it, but do not forget the brilliant play in the build-up. Absolutely magnificent here on the right-hand side. Maybe particularly from Kulusevski, there was a possibility that they could have got a penalty before that as well. But the positivity of this Spurs team from the start of this game has been fantastic, and you can't argue this has been deserved.
The laughing gas was no laughing matter. However, he's just come across and embraced his manager down below. Back in favour and back with his first goal on what is his 57th appearance for Tottenham Hotspur. Leyton Orient 1, Birmingham City 1 is the latest score in League One. Manchester City back to Will Perry.
Don't score first against Manchester City, who now lead Ipswich by 2-1. Ari Muric, former City keeper, what are you doing? Robbed of possession by KDB, who rolls it in. De Bruyne gives City the lead. They win, they lead by 2-1 against Ipswich.
Just seem to recall he made a couple of errors towards the end of last season with Burnley, didn't he, Muric?
I've actually started a count on it, to be fair, and the amount of goals that have been given away this season from those, goalkeepers playing out for the back. And the numbers are already big. I went through an entire career, almost, probably seen 2 or 3 in my career. It's happened so many times, and we know why.
Corner kick to Everton, meanwhile, looking for a quick riposte as they trail by 1-0. Far side the right, swung over deep towards the far post, downward header by Tarkowski. Bit of a scramble in there before it was poked away by Tottenham Hotspur. Tarkowski tries to win it back, Keane's battling for it. Odobert actually passes the ball to Gay, clipped ball in by McNeil, charged down by Romero, runs out for an Everton throw. England, remember, require 205 to win in that first test at Old Trafford after Sri Lanka in their second innings were all out for 326. And as McNeil delivers a cross, Decore is there, drops towards Harrison on the half volley, he puts it wide. That was a chance for Everton. It'll be a goal kick, but there's been a wicket at the cricket now. Ellie Oldroyd.
Ben Duckett caught behind, no doubt about this one, out for 11. Kusal low down catch off the bowling of Fernando. England 34 for 1, Dan Lawrence on 17. Ollie Pope yet to get off the mark. The target is 205.
And another goal at the Etihad, Will.
Haaland's on a hat-trick and we've only played 15 minutes. Beautiful ball through. Muric came bursting out of his box. What was he doing again? And Haaland with a beautiful finish from a tight angle. Manchester City 3, Ipswich 1.
That turned sour rather quickly for Ipswich.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where if your team has come up, you need to know. You don't know if you're good enough yet. You don't know what's going to happen. You have worries those first few games, and probably the last thing you want to do is going to play against Manchester City at home, and oh dear, this could be a long afternoon.
Yeah, especially after Liverpool last weekend. MK Dons 1, Carlisle United 0 is the latest score in League 2. Romero at the moment has got a slight problem. There's a stoppage in place, picked up a bit of a knock. Meanwhile, a goal at Fulham in the Premier League, Chris Coles.
And a goal for Fulham, scored by Emil Smith-Rowe, who is off the mark for his new side. Found on the left-hand side, used his pace and skill to burst into the penalty area, finished with his left foot into the bottom corner. Fulham 1, Leicester 0.
Emil Smith-Rowe, who had such a frustrating time last year with Arsenal through injury, and he has scored his first for Fulham. They lead Leicester 1-0. Palace 0, West Ham 0. Manchester City 3, Ipswich 1. Ipswich were ahead. Southampton 0, Nottingham Forest 0. You get an update there from Lee Blakeman indeed.
Southampton 0, Forest 0. Chances at both ends though. Walker-Peters for Southampton with a shot deflected over from the edge of the area, and then down the other end Woods just put a header straight to Alex McCarthy. Southampton 0, Forest 0.
Spurs here are leading Everton by 1-0 through Basuma, who threads the ball forward to Maddison and turns and passes it to Odobert. Sliding across was Dixon, the right back for Everton, out for a throw. Spurs, I'm sure, will have been told by Ange Postecoglou after they didn't press home their advantage against Leicester on Monday night to make sure that they do not squander such an opportunity here today.
Well, you're absolutely right to say that, because Everton are harming a lot of the ball, but they've got it again now, and when they get it, they do look dangerous, very specifically for corners in any set pieces at all. But you talked about that run of games without a clean sheet. You know why? They give up chances, Spurs.
Dixon is forward, he helps win the ball, passed by Harrison to a stumbling Calvert-Lewin, who had to stretch for it, lost his balance, and ultimately Everton had lost possession. There's been a goal now in the Championship. It's at Stoke City. Pat Murphy.
It's gone to West Brom. Great wing play by Tom Fellows on the right, who's threatened already several times. Curling cross, far post. Good header by Grant. Stoke 0, West Brom 1.
McNeil wins the throw for Everton deep inside the Tottenham half. Goal at Ibrox at Hampden. Gavin Wallace.
Yes, indeed, Rangers 1, Ross County 0. Cyril Dessers scoring after 18 minutes. Ball threaded through to the man inside the box. It only had to do with stick it beyond. Laidlaw in goals. Rangers 1, Ross County 0.
Birmingham City are back in front in League One. Leyton Orient 1, Birmingham City 2 is the latest score. Idrissa Gueye passes the ball behind Mykolenko. Everton's attack breaks down, and Tottenham Hotspur have a throw on this near side, and Romero, after that knock, seems to be okay now.
Yeah, it was a little elbow he was complaining into his ribs, and usually with those ones you get on with, you're just a bit miffed. And it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a wee bit frustrated at the moment. He's saying to his teammates, look, can you give me something beyond that I can run into, that I can chase into? Everything's been played like short to feet, etc. Now he's capable of holding the ball up. Problem is, there's nobody with him, there's nobody near him. He's holding it up for nothing, and he wants to go and chase and, you know, win a header on, and maybe someone to support him from that.
That's the voice of Pat Nevin, former Everton player, of course, as Kulusevski infield to Son. Tarkowski read it, breaks it up. Gueye passes the ball forward to Irabunum, now gives Calvert-Lewin something to chase that Pat was talking about, and Romero takes it off his toes, but in fact he was offside, was Calvert-Lewin. But that's the sort of move you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly, that's what he's shouting for. He was saying, look, if I've got one thing I've got an advantage on, it's the fact that I've got a little bit of pace here. I'm not going to go and play in Van de Ven, I'm going to try and play in Romero as much as I can and get beyond him. That time went a little bit too early, but he knows what he's doing, Calvert-Lewin.
In League Two, Morecambe have lost all 3 games this season without scoring, and they've fallen behind at Doncaster Rovers. Doncaster Rovers 1, Morecambe 0. Update from that top of the table clash in the Championship. Kenny Crawford.
22 minutes gone, Ian. It's Sunderland 0, Burnley 0. Sunderland dominating. Chris Rigg with the best chance of the match. A 10-yard effort which trundled just wide of the post. Sunderland 0, Burnley 0.
Spurs spread the ball out to Odegaard, former Burnley player, of course, signed a 5-year deal, takes it on the chest, runs forward. Dixon makes the timely challenge, out of play, it goes for a throw. Norwich City now, Sheffield United. Lawrence Herdman.
Norwich City, who've gone 19 matches unbeaten here, have the lead, totally against the run of play though. Forson threading the ball through for Josh Sargent, who finished with aplomb beyond Sheffield United debutant Michael Cooper. Norwich 1, Sheffield United 0.
And Huddersfield Town are ahead at home to Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury, who are yet to pick up a point in the early stages of the League One campaign. Huddersfield trying to match Stockport, who have won 3 out of 3. Huddersfield Town are leading at home by 1-0. As Brennan Johnson running forward on this near side the right, plays the ball back to Porro. Porro leaves it now towards Basuma, already scored 1 goal. It's a slender lead that the home team have, and Spurs are being forced back. Let's get another update in the Rugby League. Richard Stead.
It's all Rovers, I'm afraid, for St Helens fans. 16-0 to the Robins. 2 tries since you were last with us. Lewis and May going over for St Helens. Wanger Blake has been in the sin bin. 18 minutes gone. St Helens 0, Hull KR 16.
Basuma, floated ball out to Odegaard, keeps it in under pressure. Couple of good touches from Odegaard. Looks to try and deliver the cross. Odegaard tricky. Spurs fans are going to like him. He wins a corner kick. He's already proving very popular midway through this first half.
Do you know what? He has got such fast feet. Lightning quick, going left, going right, and then right. The Spurs fans are reacting to it. However, he is playing against Dixon, and he's having a good game against him. I tell you what, I'm loving that little battle over there. It's 1-1, and you know, there's not any help. The Everton players aren't saying, oh, we need to go over and help him like I expected they would. They've just said, no, deal with it. He's doing all right against a very good player.
Wrexham 1, Reading 0 is the latest score in League One. Corner kick far side the left, too deep. There was not a white and navy shirt there at that far post, so it curls out of play for a goal kick to Everton, and Jordan Pickford will take his time. That will give us an opportunity to go to Vicarage Road and Flo Pollock.
Derby still lead through that early goal. Watford now with all the ball trying to unpick this stubborn Derby defence. As it stands though, Watford 0, Derby 1.
And Pickford is still yet to take that goal kick, all in green in front of the south stand.
Well, here's the thing. He's going to kick a ball long into the opposition half from a goal kick. When's the last time you saw that?
Goes long, flicked on by Calvert-Lewin. Harrison will give chase. Udogie, though, is there first. His forward ball. Odegaard under pressure, wins it away from Dixon, who was following high up the pitch. And as you say, it's a good little duel between Dixon, who doesn't look daunted on his debut for Everton.
You know, he's like almost pocket back shit over there. You know, he's really physically strong. Yeah, he's a kind of slightly squat build, but he's lightning quick. It's a big call from him. He does not look in any way.
Pickford, terrible mistake, and Pickford holds his hands up, and Son dispossesses him, takes it off his toes, stumbled a little bit, but still had the composure to roll the ball in. It is a catastrophic mistake by Pickford, who again apologises, and Tottenham Hotspur have been gifted a second goal.
Do you know what? He'd had a warning. Son almost killed him about 15 minutes ago. He's putting his hands up now saying it's a mistake. But if you've nearly been caught and just got away with it by millimetres already in the game, you've got to be up for it, you've got to be ready for it, you've got to be sharp enough to do it. And he wasn't. Son's quick, we know that. But it is one of a catalogue of mistakes by goalkeepers now. And even the best, England's best, can make those mistakes. That might well have killed the game from him and lost all 3 points.
The back pass, and his touch took it away from him, but it gave then an opportunity. There must have been a good 2 yards from that first touch that just saw that little glimpse for Son, as the ball goes back to Pickford once again, who's now going to get the bird from the Tottenham fans all afternoon, because that is something that he will not want to watch again and again.
I have to say, nothing wrong with the back pass. Straight to the goalkeeper. Instead of taking with his right foot, he tries to roll it on with his left foot to his left foot. So, 2 problems there. 2 left-footed, and also he's a keeper.
There's been a goal at the Stadium of Light in the Championship. Kenny Crawford.
The home fans are happy. In 26 minutes gone, Sunderland 1, Burnley 0, and the man brought in to replace Jack Clark, Romain Mundle, thumps it into the bottom right-hand corner. The cross from Patrick Roberts, he controlled it and smashed it. Brilliant goal. Sunderland 1, Burnley 0.
And also in the northeast, Portsmouth are back in front. A little bit further down the A19, Middlesbrough 1, Portsmouth 2 is a latest score in the Championship. But Pickford just keeps shaking his head. He knows, and you've actually seen him apologise as well to the bench too. So he's apologised twice to his teammates, once to the bench.
I think they know it. I mean, we talked just a few moments before about the fact that they thumped it long from a goal kick. Are you comfortable with your goalkeeper having the ball at his feet just now? Well, unusually they didn't want to play it from the back. Now, part of that is because you've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin up front and you would like to get the odd flick on. He'd already been almost caught once, as I mentioned before, and to try and do it again. And by the way, he's not giving up. He's still going to take it to feet when it's passed back to him.
England's number 1 is the chant from the Tottenham fans behind him in that south stand. The Spurs now lead 2-0. Harrison tries to work his way forward on that far side, the right. A little flick by Odegaard, but Van der Ven will bring it clear. Barnsley are leading Northampton by a goal to nil at Oakwell in League One as Tarkowski slides into the challenge against Odegaard. Udogie keeps the ball in play, being pursued by Calvert-Lewin, and there was a nudge from behind by Calvert-Lewin. Udogie goes to ground, and that'll be a free kick to Tottenham, who lead 2-0.
I think that was a little bit theatrical the way he went down there, unnecessarily so. But he was clever, he just put himself in the way of the ball, and the referee, not much you can do about that. But now you can see Ange Postecoglou, you can't tell because he never looks too upset, but he can relax a bit now this time. 2-0 up, most of the ball. I mean, the game's not finished yet. I mean, if Everton can get one back, preferably before half time, there's still an opportunity to get chances here. But at the moment, this looks quite comfortable for Spurs.
Certainly is, leading by 2-0. What about Southampton, Lee Blakeman?
It's 0-0, Southampton and Forest. More Forest chances though. Sangari's just had a shot from 30 yards tipped over. Gibbs White's cleared the crossbar from 10 yards and Nuno's just been booked for dissent. Southampton 0, Forest 0.
Odegaard strokes it back. Udogie infield to Bissouma. Cries of shoot after that opening goal. Udogie strokes it back towards Maddison. Level the penalty area left hand side. They work it to a central area for Bissouma. to Son. The two goal scorers continue to exchange passes, and now with Udogie they're being patient, they're working this Everton back line. Odegaard with a cross, and it drifts out of play for a goal kick. Crystal Palace, West Ham, Conor McNamara.
Still Palace nil, West Ham nil, but big chances at both ends. Two of them for Palace. Eze denied one-on-one by Areola. Edouard put it wide in a similar position. And before that, down the other end, West Ham's Mohamed Kudus missed the target from 12 yards out. It's Crystal Palace nil, West Ham United nil.
Couple of goals for you in League One at Sincil Bank. Lincoln City lead Mansfield by 1-0, and at the Abbey Stadium, Cambridge United have equalised. Cambridge United 1, Blackpool 1. Neil Critchley, of course, left his position as the Blackpool manager in midweek. Back to Manchester City, Will Perry.
Manchester City 3, Ipswich 1. The tractor boys are being ploughed here at the Etihad by a combine harvester with Pep Guardiola in the cockpit. Rico Lewis has just rattled the crossbar from 12 yards. This could get ugly for Ipswich. Manchester City 3, Ipswich 1.
And what about at Vicarage Road? Another goal, Flo Pollock.
Watford 1, Derby 1, and that is a fantastic goal from Vakun Bayu. Lofted ball into the box, acrobatic scissor kick into the net. Watford level. Watford 1, Derby 1.
In League One earlier, Stockport made it 3 wins out of 3. Huddersfield are looking to do the same as they lead Shrewsbury by 1-0. One of the other four sides who have... so are Charlton, actually, one of the other four sides who are looking to do that are Crawley, but they've just conceded. So Wigan Athletic 1, Crawley Town 0 is the latest score in League One, and MK Dons now lead Carlisle 2-0. Here is Son looking towards Maddison, edge of the D, breaks down, Decore passes the ball out wide to Harrison, dispossessed by Udogie. Referee says that Udogie was fouling Harrison, and that will be a free kick to Everton, who still trail by 2-0. Could Manchester City have had another goal, Will Perry?
Manchester City 3, Ipswich 1, but they're playing like 11 Duracell bunnies. Other batteries are available. Kevin De Bruyne has just rattled exactly the same spot of the crossbar from Rico Lewis, this time from 25 plus yards. De Bruyne plays the ball in for Haaland, eventually cleared by Ipswich. All City, they lead 3-1.
Norwich City 1, Sheffield United 1 is a latest scoreline. So Sheffield United have got an equaliser. Of course, they began the season on -2 points, so a leveller there at Carrow Road. And I think Stoke City have equalised as well. Stoke City 1, West Bromwich Albion 1 is the latest score also in the Championship. Details of that Sheffield United goal from Lawrence Herdman.
And it was a terrific equaliser as well from 20-year-old Oliver Arblaster, the Blades captain. A left foot shot, a rocket from the edge of the penalty area, and no more than Sheffield United deserve. Norwich 1, Sheffield United 1.
And news of that Stoke goal from Pat Murphy.
It came from Lewis Kumas, beating the offside trap. Smart finish with his right foot. A minute earlier at the other end, Fellows should have scored. Cleared off the line by Bocat. West Brom 1, Stoke 1.
Cheers, Pat. Spurs lead 2-0. Still attacking. Maddison to Udogie. Udogie now to Basuma, and Basuma back to Udogie. All Tottenham, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, oddly there, and I'm going to say a phrase I can't remember ever seeing in my life before. Two very poor runs from Maddison. I mean, you've got a winger out there, gets the ball 1-on-1, and he then runs into space and kills the space. If you've got a winger who's on the ability that Odegaard's on, and also on the form that he's on, leave him alone out there.
Here is Odegaard collecting the ball from Maddison, passes it back to the England international. Forward ball then to Udogie now, level with the penalty area, left-hand side. Back to Maddison, under 30 yards out from goal. Basuma, almost as if they're toying with Everton, who are trying to work hard to keep their shape. Kulusevski on this near side, the right. Back it goes to Romero, and we're going to go back to Pat Murphy, another goal.
For West Brom, Fellows a danger man again on the right wing. Perfect cross, and there was Josh Mayer, right foot. Perfect finish. Stoke 1, West Brom 2.
12 minutes to go to half-time here. Wrexham have got a second goal at home to Reading in League One. Wrexham 2, Reading 0. Spurs building from the back patiently. And I think you might have hit the nail on the head when you said that second goal might just have killed the game.
It's kind of killed the necessity for Spurs to go at that pace. So they're holding the ball, they're saying to Everton, look, we've got to come out, we're 2 goals up. And if you come out, we're just going to pick you off, because the quality up front, Son's looked really, really sharp. Maddison's been fabulous. Oh, I'll tell you what, Sicario's at it now. He almost gave the ball away there, he got lucky.
Spurs have given the ball away cheaply. McNeil to Decore inside the penalty area, and then Vicario dives on the ball. but he did offer a little sniff, a little sighter there for Calvert-Lewin.
He's could have made a mess of it. He didn't have the skills to do the trick he was trying to do. Tried to do a little drag around there, and he put himself into a lot of trouble. Having said that, if they get themselves out, even if it's only just, then they'll say, I knew what I was doing. But I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be that comfortable if I was a Spurs fan with Carey on the ball being closed down.
Must feel like a case of deja vu for Everton. They began last season with 3 straight defeats. They're on course for a successive defeat here at the start of this new campaign, but if you think they actually went on a 5-match winless run at the beginning of last season, the season before that it was a 6-game winless run, although they did finish strongly, and of course had to deal with those point deductions last season as well for Sean Dyche, who sees his side come forward now, ploughing on. McNeil head down, first time cross, Calvert-Lewin arriving, tried to get the header, brushed off the top of his forehead and gathered in by Vicario with ease.
Yeah, but Van de Ven did very well there, didn't he? Just got in there, made sure to put him off a little bit. We know Van de Ven's got a lot of pace and he was really nice on the ball, but that occasion there, he just had to launch his body and try and put Dominic Calvert-Lewin off, and I think he done just about enough to do that.
England are about 49 for 1. They require a further 156 to beat Sri Lanka in that first test at Old Trafford. Commentary continues on Sports Extra with the TMS team. What about a golf update now? Ian Carter.
Big setback for Charlie Hull at the par 5 fifth, where she has suffered a double bogey twice, having to play sideways out of a bunker. She's back to 4 under. The leader Nelly Corder has a putt for eagle to come. She's at 7 under.
Busy afternoon of sport. Of course, Sports Report with Mark Chapman at 5. All the results, all the reaction before our next commentary. And what a game it should be at Villa Park. Aston Villa against Arsenal with John Murray and Chris Waddle, who of course was such a firm favourite back in the days when Spurs played at White Hart Lane. 5 years it is now since they moved to this impressive stadium. And they lead 2-0.
They've made it the home now, and it really does feel like the home, and the atmosphere is great. I do think the big part of that build has been Ange Postecoglou and the way his team plays, and the way that the Tottenham fans have actually built into that and bought into it. So it's a place that you actually look forward to going now, not just for the football, but for the entire ambience of the place.
The Ebor is underway at York at around 3:35. Just to say, there was a bit of a surprise in the City of York Stakes at 3 o'clock, because Audience, who was the odds-on favourite, was beaten, and Breege at 33-1 won that. We'll bring you news of the Ebor when we can from York. What a great 4 days it's been in North Yorkshire. Here we are in North London, and it's turning out to be a fine afternoon. Even almost now with the weather, as the rain has relented, it's starting to brighten up with those grey skies. They're a little bit higher, as Everton with Mikolenko, his attempted clearance, comes back off himself and actually has conceded a corner.
Just for the first time I've seen a few Everton players, you know, you can see the body language thinking, is this going to keep on going? Are we going to be under this sort of pressure the entire way through? Because at this point in time, I'm not seeing anyone like Johnson, Kulusevski, Madison really taking the foot off the gas. They want to get involved, they want goals.
Kulusevski waits to take the corner kick. After this corner, we're going straight to Craven Cottage, where I can tell you there's been a goal. It's Kulusevski, left-footed, deep, and easily headed out by Keane. So it was Fulham 1, Leicester 0. It now is, Chris.
Still 1-0, Ian, because the goal has just been ruled out for Leicester. They thought they'd equalised. A wild fast header from a corner. Flag was up. It is being checked, but still Fulham 1, Leicester 0.
Crystal Palace 0, West Ham 0, Manchester City 3, Ipswich Town 1. Ipswich were ahead. Southampton 0, Nottingham Forest 0. Earlier, Brighton and Hove Albion beat Manchester United by 2-1. Blackpool are back in front. Cambridge 1, Blackpool 2, Newport 1, Accrington 1 is the latest score in League 2. Everton play out from the back. They find McNeil midway through the left-hand side, midway through his own half, back towards Keane. His clearance is charged down by Johnson, headed forward by Maddison. Loose ball picked up by Son, and then with the interception was Tarkowski. Gay, midway through his own half, down the line it goes by Tarkowski, came off a Spurs player. It will be an Everton throw to offer brief respite.
It is intriguing to see, you know, last season, you know, what Ange Postecoglou did was quite often a 4-2-3-1, and then one of the, you know, the full-backs would go in and help the midfield. Sometimes both of them went in sometimes. Today it's been a pretty structured 4-1-4-1. which basically means Basuma sits back there, controls it from back behind it, and then you've got 5 players who all attack-minded, all skillful, all quick, hard to play against.
Spurs look to win the ball midway through the Everton half. The ironic cheers, it goes to Pickford. No chances this time. He just clatters the ball first time, left-footed downfield. Maddison midway through his own half though will tidy up. That's Pat Nevin who's with us. We didn't hear it last week, by the way, on 5 Live with Colin Murray at around 10:30. The great football songbook. There was a great feature with Chris Wilder of Sheffield United that Pat was involved in. It will return tomorrow. It's a regular feature with Colin just before 5 Live's Premier League Sunday. And tomorrow it's one that Nottingham Forest fans should tune into at around 10:30. But it's a regular feature, and it's a good feature. It's a good little listen.
Well, I'm slightly biased. I'm involved with it all the time, but no, it's brilliant fun because every football fan, you know, loves what their club song is. You know, inverted commas club song, but one that means most to them. And everyone's got one. The Spurs fans have got one, and the Forest fans. A lot of people out with Forest don't know why they have the one they have. Find out tomorrow.
Cambridge 1, Blackpool 3 is the latest score in League One, and we can get an update as a stoppage in play here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We can get an update from Craven Cottage with Chris Coles.
Where that Leicester equaliser stands after a lengthy VAR check. Wout Fass's header is given. They were checking to see whether Jamie Vardy interfered with the goalkeeper's line of vision. The referee checked the screen, thought that he didn't intervene, so the goal is given. Fulham 1, Leicester 1.
Still a stoppage in play here, so we'll go to Southampton. Lee Blakeman.
Southampton 0, Forest 0. Another massive chance for Forest though. This time Chris Wood, right side of the 6 yards area, just flashed a ball straight across the face of goal. Needed a touch, got one from Milinkovic on his debut, unmarked, back post, and somehow put it wide. Southampton 0, Forest 0.
Van de Ven is the player who's down. He missed 9 games between November and December last season through injury. And I think Dragusin is actually getting stripped to come on, so Van de Ven might be leaving the field of play. Still, you're not missing any of the action. Spurs leading Everton by 2-0 on the World Service, BBC Sounds, and of course on BBC Radio 5 Live. As we'll go to Selhurst Park and Conor McNamara.
Still Crystal Palace 0, West Ham 0 as Palace with a corner away to my left. There's been big chances at both ends in this game, but wasteful finishing has been the main narrative of these opening 45 minutes. Palace 0, West Ham 0 for now.
And the latest with Manchester City Ipswich. Will Perry.
Manchester City 3, Ipswich 1. Relentless City possession and pressure. Kevin De Bruyne has dragged an effort just wide. A free kick as well on the 18-yard line into the wall. Haaland with a looping header just off the radar. Manchester City 3, Ipswich 1.
Well, he's back on his feet. Do you think he might continue?
Well, considering it's 41:34 on the clock just now, and he only has to survive until half-time, and they can have a right good look at him, I think it would be intelligent to give him a chance to wait till half-time to make a good decision.
Well, it's quite a high line that Spurs have got here as a free kick is taken by Pickford on the halfway line. Aerial duel won by Tarkowski on the edge of the area. Spurs clear, and Gay will pass the ball back to Pickford. There's the crowd reaction as well as Pickford once again controls it and hits it long, and that is due to his part in the Spurs' second goal that Son scored 11 minutes after a cracking effort from Basuma. No other goals to tell you about. Van de Ven looks like he is going to be fit enough to return. Dragusin will have to get stripped back and just warmed up again on this dull afternoon in North London.
Do you know what, Ian? I think they'd made a decision to take him off, and he wanted to come off as well. He's running perfectly now already. He looks absolutely fine. We'll keep an eye on him though to see if he keeps on managing, because it looked to me as if it was a dead leg as much as anything else, you know, just a coming together of two players. Don't know if there's a twist, that would be different, but it didn't look like that to me.
Well, at the moment Gay has gone down as well, so we've got another stoppage here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with Spurs leading Everton 2-0. 2 minutes to go to the break on BBC Radio 5 Live. McNeil then to take it for this, again, a high line offering as much protection to Vicario, who waits, all in yellow, way towards our left-hand side. But it's the E-ball, and we're going to go racing now at York, and Darren Owen.
Half a mile to go in the E-ball. We've already had drama. Crystal Delight has parted company with the jockey down the far side. It's Queenstown and Chillingham. They are the front two. They're being tracked by Ziggy, who was well supported before the off. Burdett Road is being pushed along just behind the leader, then Forza Orta and Fairbanks. Magical Zoe, the favourite, is now making ground. My Mate Mozzie to the outside, and they are being followed then by Epic Poet and Kieva. Chillingham is the one going for home from Ziggy in second place inside the final quarter of a mile. Here comes one for the gutter with a big run, and the mare Magical Zoe down the outside. Epic Poet is still progressing a furlong to gallop. Magical Zoe has hit the front from one for the gutter in second. Kieva and Epic Poet are running on. The one to get to is the mare Magical Zoe, and Magical Zoe will take the Ebor here for Henry de Bromhead. It's another Irish winner. Magical Zoe the winner, Kieva second place. In third was one for the gutter, and in fourth place was Hip Hop de Loire. So Magical Zoe has won the Ebor here for Henry de Bromhead. This is the market leader and Billy Lee aboard. 11-2 favourite, Magical Zoe the winner.
Thank you, Darren. Haven't missed anything whilst we've been away. We're in the last 30 seconds as the cross comes in from a corner kick, and the header at the far post goes behind for yet another corner. I should just say as well about the Ebor, congratulations to Eamon Jones on his first wedding anniversary, and to Declan and Ben, who we had the pleasure of bumping into on Wednesday at the start of the Ebor meeting. I said I'd give them a little mention, as they are regular listeners to BBC Radio 5 Live, and I hope they were on the winner of the Ebor, as there is stoppage time to be added here. 3 minutes, corner kick. Everton again, Tarkowski, Decore hooks it goalwards, cleared off the line, still scramble inside that area. What a scramble this is, up in the air. Spurs defending defiantly. Harrison was peeling back his left foot for a volley, that was taken away off his toes. McNeil runs forward on the left hand side, goes to ground, and Everton coming very, very close to getting a goal back.
There's been 3 or 4 corners, and this is going to be a free kick from what looks like a short corner almost, that have been put into the back post, and every single time Tarkowski at the back post has won the header. He's often been against Romero or Porro. Neither of them have been able to get anywhere near him, and he's causing mayhem in that back line there.
Bradford 2, Bromley 0, Blackburn 0, Oxford United 1, Exeter 1, Peterborough United 2, our latest scores in the Football League. We'll try and get to Valley Parade if we can. Hibs have equalised at home to Dundee 1-1, but let's stay with the commentary as Everton with a free kick. It's floated and caught by Vicario. So to Valley Parade, Naz Premji.
Yeah, Andy Cook it was from close range after Alex Patterson's cross. Bradford 2, Bromley 0.
And Blackburn Rovers have equalised at Ewood Park in the Championship. Blackburn 1, Oxford United 1. We're up to date after a rather frenetic period.
Yeah, it was a wee bit mad that actually, just in there at the back post there with Tarkowski, and that's something that Everton will work on the second half. They're not completely out of this yet.
Rangers have got a second goal. They lead Ross County by 2-0. Spurs are attacking with Kulusevski. They are 2-0 up against Everton. Johnson now with a cross, strikes the body of Keane, goes behind for a corner. Wicket at the cricket, Ellie.
And the England captain Ollie Pope is out for 6. Giles Soria, the bowler, just a weird little sweep. He was caught at slip. 56 for 2 England, 205 the target. Not the best game with the bat for Ollie Pope.
Commentary continues on Sports Extra. Lincoln City 2, Mansfield 0. You're up to date. The corner kick has been taken short right hand side. Son curls it in left footed, headed out by Keane by the penalty spot area. We are into the... The board was actually meant to continue ticking, so the supporters inside the stadium were to know how much of the 3 minutes to be added on, but it's remained stuck at 45. Let's get news of that second Rangers goal. Gavin Wallace.
Yeah, it's for Ravi Matondo. Rangers 2, it's Ross County 0. Just after Leon Balogun went off, Diomande come on, and just after that move, Matondo got in front of everyone and put it beyond Laidlaw. Going into half-time, Rangers 2, Ross County 0.
Searching ball for Kulusevski to chase. Mikulenko has to concede the corner, so Spurs, who are 2-0 up in stoppage time in the first half. BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the World Service. Kulusevski waits, Maddison offers the short option. Instead he bypasses Maddison, finds Porro unmarked, edge of the area. Porro with a curling effort, just off target. And there is the half-time whistle, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, and look, they're about 2 minutes ahead here, and it's 2-0. Could have been more, there were opportunities. And they kept on getting down, right hand side, left hand side. There's so many talented players, so many skillful players, so many quick players in that Spurs side, but they're not completely free of it now, because when they get the corner kicks, Everton, as we know, are very dangerous, and Tarkowski in particular is really, really difficult to mark at the back post there. But it's not. If they lose a goal, it could become a mismatch. And the way it's sitting just now for an Everton fan, if he's watching it, played 1.5 games, score 0-5. Not great.
No, after that 3-0 home defeat to Brighton last weekend, Pickford's dreadful error conceding a second goal, Son with that goal to build on Bissouma's cracking effort after 14 minutes. So half-time in North London, Spurs lead Everton by 2-0.
Strop into the Championship, being a couple of late goals in the first half at Ewood Park. Nesta McGregor.
Blackburn Rovers 1, Oxford United 1. The away side taking the lead. Mark Harris with a goal of the season contender. I kid you not, full on 40-yard volley on 44 minutes. Just a few minutes later, though, a scrappy equaliser, but they all count. Joe Rankin-Costello on the turn levelled things up. Blackburn Rovers 1, Oxford United 1.
Let's go to St Mary's next. Goalless first half for Lee Blakeman.
So dominant from Forest though, Mark, but it's somehow Southampton 0, Forest 0 at half-time. Lots of chances. Malinkovic with the best of the bunch. Unmarked, back post, 4 yards out, but put Chris Wood's cross wide. Williams has had 3 good opportunities. Wood and Ilanga have gone close too. Southampton just the one real chance of note. Walker-Peters shot from distance deflected over. Forest will be wondering how they're not a couple clear at least here. Southampton 0, Forest 0.
Goalless there, goalless at Selhurst as well. Conor McNamara.
Yes, Crystal Palace 0, West Ham 0. Palace thought they'd broken the deadlock late in the first half, but Ebre Eze's thundering shot walloped back off the crossbar. That's the closest we've had to an opener. Earlier, West Ham had missed a few headers wide from corners. Eze had an earlier chance denied one-on-one by Areola. That's been the save of the opening 45. Edouard was put clean through. That was a waste. He sent it wide. No shortage of chances, but no goals either. Crystal Palace 0, West Ham 0.
All square at Craven Cottage as well, but at least you've had goals, Chris Coles.
2 of them. Fulham 1, Leicester 1. Emile Smith-Rowe's first Fulham goal had the home side in front. Calm left-footed finish. A deserved lead as well. They were very good, Fulham. Further chances to increase their advantage until Leicester struck a Wout-Fast header from a corner, initially ruled out for offside. Jamie Vardy adjudged to be interfering with play. Referee Darren Bond came to the screen, didn't agree, which I think is fair enough. He was a fair distance away and the goal was given. Fulham 1, Leicester 1.
Earlier in the Premier League, João Pedro scored in the 5th minute of second half stoppage time to give Brighton a 2-1 win over Manchester United. They're still playing at the Etihad, where Manchester City lead Ipswich by 3-1. Ipswich actually taking the lead at the Etihad. We'll get the half-time details from Will Perry now. Here he is, right on cue.
Yeah, the whistle's just gone, Mark. There we go. Manchester City 3, Ipswich 1. 3 City goals in 4 minutes after going behind, with Smodics rolling the ball through Ederson's legs. Davis fouled Savinho after a pitchside monitor check, penalty given. Haaland rolled it in. Then a Muric howler robbed by Savinho, who set up De Bruyne to slide into an empty net. Number 3, a KDB ball over the top. Muric again in no man's land, with Haaland finishing from a tight angle. At the break, Manchester City 3, Ipswich 1.
Into the Championship at lunchtime. Bristol City 1, Coventry 1, Hull 0, Millwall 0 and QPR 1, 9-man Plymouth 1. We've heard at half-time at Ewood Park that it's Blackburn 1, Oxford 1. At the Stadium of Light, Sunderland are on course to make it 3 wins from 3. Kenny Crawford.
Yeah, half-time, Sunderland 1, Burnley 0. The Black Cats looking for 9 points from 9 as it stands. Home fans might have been lamenting the loss of Jack Clarke to Ipswich, but the man who's taken his place in the team today has produced the goods. Romain Mundo had looked lively, and in 26 minutes he finished crisply into the bottom corner after controlling Patrick Roberts' cross. Sunderland 1, Burnley 0, half-time.
To Vicarage Road next, Flo Pollock.
Half-time, Watford 1, Derby 1. Derby took the lead with the first chance of the game. Ebu Adams, the scorer. Watford then had plenty of the ball, but they needed something special to break down this Derby defence. And Vakun Bayo produced a scissor kick from across. Special goal to open his account this campaign. Half-time, Watford 1, Derby 1.
Next to Stoke, where the visitors West Brom lead. Pat Murphy.
Lead 2-1, dodgy defending but entertaining to watch. 3 goals in 13 minutes. 2 of them for West Brom, set up by Tom Fellows on the right wing, who's had a great first half. Grant header and a composed finish from Major. In between, Kumas, intricate finish. A couple of minutes later, Kumas hit the post. Should have scored. Stoke 1, West Brom 2.
Lawrence Herman at Carrow Road.
Fabulous match. Norwich 1, Sheffield United 1. The visitors made all the early running. Harry Souttar headed a corner just over, but Norwich broke the deadlock midway through the half. Josh Sargent slotting past goalkeeper Michael Cooper on his debut. The Americans on target for the second week running. That lead lasted just 7 minutes, though. The outstanding Sheffield United captain Oliver Arblaster lashing home from the edge of the box. Half-time, Norwich 1, Sheffield United 1.
Elsewhere in the Championship, Christian Sadie has got both Portsmouth goals as they lead 2-1 at Middlesbrough at the break. Matt Clark scoring for Michael Carrick's side. At Deepdale, Paul Heckingbottom now in charge of Preston, and they lead Luton by a goal to nil at the break. Will Keane, the man to get that. Let's go to League 2 and Naz Premji watching Bradford against Bromley.
Bradford City 2, Bromley 0. The home side in control through a Richie Smallwood penalty mark and an Andy Cook strike from close range. Ashley Charles it was that handled in the box. He was shown a red card. Smallwood's penalty into the bottom right corner. Then Alex Patterson's delivery from the right. Andy Cook from a couple of yards out couldn't miss. Bromley struggling since going down to 10. It could and probably will get worse in the second half for them. Bradford City 2, Bromley 0.
The rest of League 2 scores at lunchtime. Crewe 0, Swindon 0 and Tranmere beat Walsall by a goal to nil. Walsall missed a very early penalty in the first half there, so Nigel Adkins' side getting all 3 points. Elsewhere in League 2, in the 3 o'clock games, Barrow 0, Port Vale 0, Cheltenham 0, AFC Wimbledon 0, goalless between Chesterfield and Salford, and Colchester and Harrogate. Doncaster lead Morecambe by a goal to nil. It's Fleetwood 0, Gillingham 0. MK Dons are 2-0 up on Carlisle. Callum Hendry's got the first there. That's his first goal for them since he joined from Salford. Alex Gilby got the second. That's 2 for the season for him. It's Newport 1, Accrington Stanley 1. In League 1 this afternoon, Burton 0, Stevenage 0 and Stockport 2, Bristol Rovers 0 is how it finished in the early games. At 3 o'clock, Barnsley lead Northampton by a goal to nil, so these were all half-times. Cambridge 1, Blackpool 3, 2 for James Husband, Carl Joseph with the other. Cambridge goal came from Shane Lavery, his first for the club since he joined from today's opponents Blackpool. Charlton lead Bolton by a goal to nil. It's Exeter 1, Peterborough 2, Huddersfield 1, Shrewsbury 0, Leyton Orient 1, Birmingham 2. Keshi Anderson's first of the season putting Birmingham ahead. Ethan Galbraith equalised for Leyton Orient, and then Alfie May with his third of the season has restored the lead for Birmingham. Lincoln lead Mansfield by 2 goals to nil. Wigan 1, Crawley 0, Wrexham 2, Reading 0. Ollie Palmer and Elliot Lee with the goals for Phil Parkinson's side, and it's goalless between Wickham and Rotherham. Into the Scottish Premiership, Dundee United 0, St Johnstone 0, Hibs 1, Dundee 1, and at Ibrox, Rangers lead Ross County 2-0. Gavin Wallace.
To be honest, Mark, it really should be more. Cyril Dessers, though, with his 4th of the season on 18, as Tom Lawrence threaded through a lovely ball, and then the striker put it onto his left foot, turned the defender and slotted home. To be honest, Ross County haven't contributed much. There was a chance just at the death of half-time where Denham should have passed, but he shot and it was well saved. But Ravi Matondo then punished just as Captain James Tavernier with a delicious cross into the front post. It was cushioned in by the former Man City youngster. Half-time, Rangers 2, Ross County 0.
Elsewhere in the Scottish Championship, Airdrieonians 0, Queen's Park 2, Ayr 1, Wraith 0, Wraith down to 10. Partick Thistle are also down to 10 at Falkirk, and that game's goalless. Hamilton lead Dunfermline by a goal to nil, and it's Livingston 0, Morton 0. In League 1 this afternoon, Annan 0, Alloa 1, Dumbarton 0, Arbroath 1, Kelty Hearts 0, Inverness 0, and Stenhousemuir 1, Cove Rangers 1. In League 2 this afternoon, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Clyde 1, Forfar 0, Edinburgh City 2, Spartans 0, Peterhead 0, Stirling 0, East Fife 2, and it's goalless between Stranraer and Elgin. And back to England and the National League. At lunchtime, Gateshead beat Yeovil by 3 goals to 1. At half-time, AFC Fylde 0, Maidenhead 0, Aldershot 1, Oldham 0. Eastleigh, who have a 100% record of being held at Altrincham, that's goalless. Barnet 1, Southend 0, Boston 1, Tamworth 0, Ebbsfleet 0, Woking 1, Hartlepool 0, Wealdstone 1, Rochdale 0, Forest Green Rovers 0, Solihull Moors 0, Braintree 1, and Sutton 0, York 0. It is 2 minutes to 4 o'clock. Carl Hartley has the news.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Mark. German police have arrested a 15-year-old boy after 3 people were killed and 8 others injured in a knife attack in the city of Zolingen. The teenager is being questioned on suspicion of knowing about the attack beforehand and not telling the authorities. The public prosecutor is Markus Kasper.
At the moment, this individual has not been charged. We are, at the moment, know that there was an unknown person who we believe has spoken to this individual. More information cannot be provided at the moment.
While officers say they don't believe the teenager carried out the attack and the search for the suspect continues, our correspondent Damien McGuinness is in Germany.
Problem is that they still don't know much about the perpetrator himself. They are talking about a man. They are not ruling out terror, but they don't have any real idea about the motive. Now, what police and state prosecutors have just said is that they're not ruling out terror because there doesn't seem to be any connection between the victims.
You can keep across this story on the BBC News website. Other news briefly, a manslaughter investigation has been opened into the deaths of 7 people, including the British tech entrepreneur Mike Lynch, after a luxury yacht sank off the coast of Sicily. 2 more men have been arrested in connection with the deaths of a mum and her 3 children in a house fire in Bradford. Another man arrested earlier this week remains in hospital with critical injuries. And police in France are investigating an explosion outside a synagogue as attempted terrorist murder. The blaster was caused by 2 cars being set alight outside the building in the town of Le Grand Motte.
A brand new season begins.
More live Premier League football than anywhere else.
Unbelievable strike! The stadium is on its feet.
Live and exclusive on BBC Radio 5 Live.
It's an absolute cracker!
On Sunday, Wolves versus Chelsea.
And Liverpool versus Brentford.
What a game!
And keep up to date on everything football every day with the Football Daily podcast.
5 Live Premier League Sunday.
Listen Sunday from 12
on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. This is 5 Live Sport
with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Also got the Dutch Grand Prix tomorrow from 2 o'clock. You can listen on the BBC Sport website, and Lando Norris is on pole for that. England just got a little bit of fight on their hands at Old Trafford, Ellie.
Yeah, they're making a meal of this run chase, Chappers. 205 is the target, and they are now 70 for 3. Dan Lawrence out for 34. He played nicely, played some good shots as well, but LBW to Ratnaika, it looked quite high. He did review it, but upheld as umpire's call. So with Joe Root and Harry Brook out in the middle, England need them to get a little bit closer than they are at the moment to that target of 205. 25 minutes till tea, and they are, what did I just say, 70 for 3.
Back to Ian Carter at St Andrews.
And Charlie Hull 4 shots off the lead because of that double bogey. 7 at the 5th, just missed a birdie chance at the 7th, so goes to the 8th at 4 under par with the leader. Nelly Corder at 8 under par, opened with 2 bogeys, followed it up with 2 birdies in 3 holes. She's on the 7th, leading the field by 2 at 8 under.
At half-time in Super League, and listen to this score from St Helens, from Richard Stead.
St Helens 0, Hull Kingston Rovers 26, and it's as one-sided as that scoreline would suggest, Mark. A first half hat-trick for Joe Burgess. Tyrone May and Mikey Lewis have also crossed. Saints played 10 minutes with 12 as Wanger Blake was sin-binned, and as much as St Helens look out of sorts, the Robins continue to look the real deal in 2024. Saints 0, Hull KR 26.
João Pedro got a 95th minute winner for Brighton in the lunchtime game in the Premier League as they beat Manchester United 2-1. Here's Eric Ten Hag with Jonathan Pearce.
Tough to take that at the end?
Absolutely. When you, at least you should have taken a draw, because I think that that was also correct. But yeah, we could have won them as well if that goal from Sirikse, Garnacho, that incident, and when the goal counts.
2 games played now in the league, you had the Community Shield as well. What would be your overall assessment then of these opening 2 games?
That we have good potential, but we have to keep going till the end, because when we concede now, and in the Community Shield in almost stoppage time, now in stoppage time, and we concede a goal, you have to keep going till the end. Game is finished when the ref whistles 3 times, and that is what we didn't do well. So the game management, we should improve there.
You can watch everything Match of the Day tonight, 10:20 on BBC One. So at half-time in the 3 o'clocks in the Premier League, Manchester City lead Ipswich 3-1. It's Fulham 1, Leicester 1. Goalless between Palace and West Ham, and Southampton and Nottingham Forest. And Everton have it all to do at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They are 2-0 down. Let's rejoin Pat and Ian.
Yes, they certainly do, Mark. It doesn't appear that there's been any changes from either side at the break. So Vicario in goal for Spurs, Porro, Romero, Van de Ven and Udogie, Maddison, Basuma, Son, Odegaard, Kulusevski and Johnson for a Spurs team who are defending the south stand in this second half, playing from right to left in their white shirts with the navy sleeves and the navy shorts. And for Everton in their all dark grey, they have Pickford in goal, a back four of Roman Dixon, 19-year-old on his debut, Michael Keane, Tarkowski, Mikolenko, Doucouré, Gay, Irabunum, Harrison, McNeil and Calvert-Lewin. And Spurs leading 2-0 from a Basuma goal, his first for the club, and then Son after a dreadful error by Pickford. But Calvert-Lewin going on a surging run, stopped in his tracks by a sliding challenge by Romero, and then Tarkowski all over Son, giving away a free kick inside the Tottenham Hotspur half. Pat Nevin.
They tried very hard to start at a decent tempo. Everton, they've got the ball long to Calvert-Lewin, but when they lose the ball, they don't see it for a long time, and that's a real difficulty for Everton. But I suspect that would be a difficulty for most teams playing against Spurs, because they've held the ball well.
Lincoln City have got an early goal in the second half in League One at Sincil Bank. Lincoln City 3, Mansfield Town 0. All the goals as they go in on this goal service, the fastest around on a Saturday afternoon, in and around the commentary, and of course the first of 4 commentaries on BBC Radio 5 Live this weekend. We've got Aston Villa Arsenal to follow, Sports Report at 5:30, and then tomorrow as part of 5 Live's Premier League Sunday, Wolves Chelsea at 2, Bournemouth against Newcastle incidentally will be on BBC website online, Liverpool Brentford at 4:30. Anthony Taylor is our referee, and he has acknowledged that Spurs have got a throw on this near side, the left, as Udogie was just tripped. He's feeling the effects of that challenge.
May I jump in and say, no, he wasn't. It's a perfectly good tackle from the back, one clean as a whistle. Udogie has tried to con the referee, failed. Didn't fail to con you though.
Nothing will catch you out, Pat, but he's whether he's
absolutely not a free kick. It was a nice clean tackle.
Maddison rolls the corner to Odegaard, kept in play by Idrissa Gueye, gets away from Odegaard, his clearance though only as far as Son, arms out open wide by Sean Dyche in his tracksuit down below, and then Odegaard takes his eye off the ball, and when he looks down it's rolled out of play past his left boot and out it goes for a throw. Sean Dyche, who is winless in 8 away games against Tottenham in his managerial career, he's drawn 1 and lost 7. As Wrexham have got a third goal for Phil Parkinson's side. Wrexham 3, Reading 0, a latest score in League One. Dixon then with a throw down the line on this near side, the right for Everton, headed back by Spurs, controlled by Son. Maddison loses the ball. Doucouré with the outside of his right boot will try and get Mikolenko away, but it was an arcing ball that was going closer to Romero, who was easily able to control that. Up to Kulusevski, throws himself to the floor. There was a foul in there, says the referee Anthony Taylor. Free kick to Spurs.
And what Everton need to do is survive a little 5 minutes or so, and then hope the same happens with Spurs what happened against Leicester. They'll run out of steam a little bit. They've been playing at a high tempo, particularly up front. Maybe they do that. Maybe they lose a bit of concentration, because 1 goal, 1 chance.
Ball played early by Romero. Maddison just tried to tickle it past Pickford, but Pickford was quickly off his goal line and made the save from close range.
I think he got something on it. And Maddison, I think he's back-heeled it, and from an odd ankle as well. Great run there, great position. What a beautiful little bit of play there, but he couldn't change the direction of the ball enough. Pickford read it.
Barnsley 2, Northampton Town 0 as the latest score in League One at Oakwell. Ball swept forward along the ground by Keane. Mikolenko far side the left. McNeil is ahead of him, level with the penalty area. First time cross. Strikes the head of Romero. Up in the air it goes. A cushioned header by Romero. And the ball should eventually be cleared by Porro to Basuma. Came under a little bit of pressure on the edge of his penalty area, but clips it long up towards the halfway line. That, though, did happen in that corresponding fixture You know, it was only 2-1 back in December of last season, and Andre Gomez, they scored 2 goals in the first half through Richarlison and Son. Andre Gomez then set up a rather nervy finish with that, reducing the arrears 8 minutes from time for Everton.
Yeah, and that is the thing you have to work with. You know you're going to get limited amount of play, but Spurs have got mistakes in them, and because they take chances. The manager knows that, and we all know that.
Son with a switch of play to Odegaard, goes through towards Pickford. Lincoln City have got a 4th goal of the afternoon against Mansfield, as Pickford clears downfield off that left boot of his. Van der Ven, though, with the interception. Ball picked up by Odegaard, back towards Udogie. We'll go to Fulham now. Chris Coles.
Fulham 1, Leicester 1, but a big chance for Fulham squandered by Rodrigo Muniz from 6 yards out. Fast, badly dispossessed. Traore to Muniz, over the bar. Fulham 1, Leicester 1.
Yes, we're up to date with all the goals as they go in on BBC Radio 5 Live, BBC Sounds and the World Service, as Van der Ven down the line towards Odegaard. Dixon tight behind him. Odegaard back to Van der Ven. Had that knock towards the latter stages of the first half, but the Dutchman has recovered. Keane's forward header. Ball played by Udogie onto the chest of Maddison. Diagonal ball, spreads it out far side the right for Johnson. Johnson accelerates, enters the penalty area, tried to square it towards Son, but the ball was cut out and diverted behind by Mykolenko for a corner that Spurs are looking to take quickly. They threatened to do so, but ultimately didn't.
Got to play that pass one step before. You don't get that amount of time to steady yourself there. Son had made an amazing run in the middle there. The ball was on, but wide on the right. One step too many, and the chance was missed.
Barrow are leading Port Vale by 1-0. The corner is too deep. That's in League 2. Blackpool have got a 4th goal at the Abbey Stadium. Cambridge United 1, Blackpool 4. This is the Premier League. 5 Live. Son. Ball inside. Maddison has a little glance over his right shoulder. Tarkowski there now for Everton. Irabunum towards Decore. Hits it first time, looks at Calvert-Lewin. Van der Ven goes to ground. Son. Romero actually will then run the ball back towards Vicario. As Son is the one actually in a central position at the minute. Odegaard's playing on the left, Johnson on the right, with Maddison in behind, and Kulusevski more in a deeper role.
But it's the adaptability of it. It's an odd one because you've generally got 2 full-backs, you've got 2 centre-backs, you've got certainly Basura, who's sitting the most deep of all the wide players, and then you've got 5 in front of that, which is, you do what you like. Whoever finds himself centre-forward, stay centre-forward, we'll all work round you. It's a really subtle way to do it.
Short ball shuffled forward by Udogie, gets the return from Maddison, sends over the cross, evades everybody inside the penalty area. Anthony Taylor has blown his whistle. There'll be a free kick to Everton, who still trail by 2-0.
I think that was Johnson there who was coming on, and it was one of those moments where a player went to ground. The referee didn't see it because Johnson turned round as if to say, I didn't do anything. He thought to himself, yeah, he did. I don't think he's seen it, but he thought he looked so guilty that he gave the free kick there.
Ball goes back to Pickford. Still the Spurs fans amusing themselves in after Pickford's part in that second goal. 6:06 will follow that commentary at Villa Park that comes up at 5:30. 08085909693 693 to speak to Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage. As here is Romero trotting his way forward, finds Son, plays the ball out towards Porro. Right hand side, brightening skies now in North London. Newport County 2, Accrington Stanley 1, a latest score in League 2. Back they go to Vicario. We'll go to St Mary's, Lee Blakeman.
Southampton 0, Forest 0. Forest with an early chance in the second half. Elanga with the cross. Wood was waiting for a tap in 3 yards out. It was just cleared away in the nick of time. Southampton better, but still not creating much. Southampton 0, Forest 0.
Here is Porro, midway through the Everton half. Kulusevski's drifted out wide right. It'll be an Everton throw. Any sign of the deadlock being broken at Selhurst Park? Conor McNamara.
No, 12 minutes into the second half. They are creating chances here, but they just can't take them. Ebericha Eze's effort that came back off the crossbar before half-time, the closest we've had to a goal. Crystal Palace 0, West Ham 0.
And what about at the Etihad, Will Perry?
Still Manchester City 3, Ipswich 1. No changes at the break, but one early in the second half. Kovacic injured after being clipped by Delap, replaced by Stones. Manchester City 3, Ipswich 1.
This is 5 Live, and there is a stoppage in play over on the far side. It is Porro who has gone down. He was a doubt coming into the game with a knock to his ankle that he sustained against Leicester on Monday. It's his 50th Premier League start, but he's in a lot of pain. So a stoppage in play here with Spurs leading by 2-0. And to the top of the table clash in the Championship. On Wearside, Kenny Crawford.
54 minutes gone, Ian. Still Sunderland 1, Burnley 0, and Romain Mundo still the man making the difference. He's had a great shot blocked at the start of this second half. Former Spurs youth player, incidentally. For Burnley, closest they've come is a Andreas Hatunji header which went wide just at the end of the first half. Sunderland 1, Burnley 0.
And we'll stay in the Championship. Flo Pollock at Vicarage Road.
Watford 1, Derby 1. Neither side with any chances in this second half, but Watford with plenty of the ball. 1-1.
Play back underway here, and it's with Maddison on this near side, the left, to Odegaard, touches it to Udogie, gets it back, loses the ball to Gay. Everton midway through their own half, pass it out to Gay. Calvert-Lewin wants it early. Van de Ven is always going to beat that in a foot chase. That was no contest.
Yeah, and remember, Calvert-Lewin is not slow, but he just looks as if he was treading water there against the player who's completely rapid, so he got there brilliantly. And at the moment, there's very, very few out balls that the Everton players can get. And if you know there's few out balls, you're not going to try and kill yourself to get there up beside your centre-back, because you know you just have 40 yards to run back at full speed then. So tough at the moment, and you just look down at the bench. Sean Dykes might have to do something. In fact, as I look down, he will be doing something very soon.
Activity down below on the Everton bench as they still trail by 2-0. Back into the Championship we go to Stoke. Pat Murphy.
It's still Stoke 1, West Brom 2, and Tom Fellows continues to impress on West Brom's right wing. An excellent outlet, and just now a little drag back, left foot shot just over the bar. Stoke 1, West Brom 2.
Young is suspended after his sending off last week. Chimiti, Patterson, Branthwaite, Garner, Coleman are all out injured. A couple of youngsters again on the bench for Sean Dyche as Irabunam plays the ball forward to Harrison. But again, Van de Ven covers, and there is a push in the back by Harrison. Van de Ven goes forward, and Spurs get a throw. It's at the minute, it feels very, very comfortable for the home team.
It does, but you know that Sean Dyche has waited. He's not waited the entire hour, but nearly an hour till he makes his changes. And there'll be quite interesting changes, because what you actually want to make sure is that you can change the game. You've got types of players that will change the game. And certainly that's going to be the case with Ndiaye. Ndiaye's a pretty clever player. He's a player I enjoy watching, and I've seen him before. He's coming here and he'll try and pick the ball up behind the centre forward and create things. It's going to be tough for him though, because he's not got a lot of help around him, but he's a lovely player to watch when he's on the ball.
Let's get an update in the Championship, this time from Lawrence Herdman at Carrow Road.
Still 1-1, but Sheffield United have just gone close. Fullback Harrison Burrows with a fierce left foot half volley, kept out by Angus Gunn at his near post.
Harrison and Decore are the players who have gone off, and Iliman Ndiaye coming on, and Jesper Lindström coming on as well for his Everton debut. Signed on loan from Napoli with the option of a permanent deal, the Danish midfielder. Only 2 starts in Serie A for Napoli last season. He was previously at Eintracht Frankfurt under Oliver Glasner, as the ball given away poorly and very sloppily by Odegaard to McNeil. McNeil wriggles into the penalty area, might drop towards Calvert-Lewin, shot then fired in, and Vicario makes the save from Lindström, and then Porro with a brave header. That'll be a stoppage in play through a head injury, but Lindström with his first touch, with a right-footed drive that Vicario had to make the save.
Do you know, lots of managers do that. You know, they hold, and then have a go for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or a little bit more than that. Very poor play there on the left-hand side, and the build-up to that. But the wriggle through was fantastic. It had to be saved from McNeil. And when the shot came on target there, Vicario, it came through a bunch of players as well, but he saved it very, very well. Possibly the best, if not maybe the second best moment of the game so far from Everton. Give them a little bit of lift.
I was about to say, I watched him win the Europa League with Eintracht Frankfurt under Oliver Glasner, who of course now is the Crystal Palace manager, whose team still drawing at home with West Ham 0-0, but plenty of goals in League 2 at the Abbey Stadium, where it's now Cambridge United 2, Blackpool 4. We're approaching the hour mark, but maybe that's a warning sign to Tottenham that still the 3 points are not yet put to bed.
Well, the thing you have to underline is, you know, you're 2-0 down, what's what you lose now? You know, you might as well have a little bit of a dig, a little bit of a go, and you know you've brought in 2 attack-minded players to play the game. Decore has been less so, not had a great effect in the game, so we shall see.
Good strong run by Udogie down the line on this near left-hand side. Tried to win a corner off the legs of young Dixon. He digs it out though, the Everton debutant. Maddison stabs it forward, and that'll be picked up by Pickford. Team news now at Villa Park, John Murray.
Villa are the same as last week, so Cash is fit to continue at right back. Arsenal make just one change. The long-time injured Jurriën Timber comes in for his first competitive start. Zinchenko's on the bench, and Nketiah is an Arsenal substitute, even though he seems set for a move to Forest.
Thank you, John. Chris Waddle alongside John in the commentary box. Commentary after Sports Report at 5:30 on BBC Radio 5 Live. An hour played. Spurs here in North London are leading by 2-0. Mykolenko on that far side, back to Idrissa Gueye, forward of the centre circle. Kulusevski giving chase, then it's with Keane inside the centre circle, diagonal ball spread out towards Dixon, strikes him on the head, presents the ball to Udogie, who passes the ball in field to Basuma. Forward ball to Maddison in space, and he drives forward into that space and then passes the ball to Audebert. Audebert now on the left, enters the penalty area. Audebert waits. Inside left channel of the box, back outside the penalty area to Basuma, who joins the attack and strokes it out towards Porro, and all the momentum of that attack appears to have been lost.
It's a bit of a shame for the Spurs fans there, because they thought they had a break. They're going to have a few of them now, because Everton are a little bit more positive really in the possession. And the silly free kick given away there. But they're getting themselves now a little bit further forward, Everton, but it's leaving gaps. Now, there's good players there, I keep on mentioning attack-wise. However, there's one player more than anyone else will be licking his lips, and that will be Maddison. Maddison, when there is space, will pick up the ball and create real problems for the opposition. He almost did it there, and it will happen again.
A third goal of the afternoon in our featured game in the Scottish Premiership. Gavin Wallace.
Rangers 3, Ross County 0. Cyril Dessers doubling his account for this afternoon. Matondo down the left-hand side. It was a great ball into the corner of doubt, and he was there ahead of everyone else to tap home. Rangers 3, Ross County 0.
Everton in with the ball with McNeil. Gets it back from Keane. Out to Dixon, just popped up a little bit for him and allowed Audebert to make the challenge, but Lindstrom has seized upon that loose ball on this near right touchline for Everton, who play from left to right as we look, still trailing by 2-0, but 29 minutes remain, and Tarkowski chips the ball long towards Calvert-Lewin and easily gathered in by Vicario.
A little bit of lift in the play from Everton, a little bit of belief. I mean, Lindstrom obviously that opportunity he had there, but he looks comfortable, sharp in the ball. You should do, you're just coming on. The new sides want to make an effect, and Dyer looks really sharp there as well, getting on the ball as often as he could. And I have to say, McNeil's a different player. Moved him in more central behind Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and he's loving that position.
Richarlison is going to be coming on against his former side. Actually has a very good record against Everton, does Richarlison. 4 goals in 5 against his former club. He scored 53 goals in 152 games in 4 years at Goodison, as Lindstrom looking for a through ball to Calvert-Lewin. Van der Ven read it well. Calvert-Lewin less so. Audebert coming forward, runs into Dixon. Everton get the ball back. Spurs still lead 2-0. Basuma goes into the challenge and wins the ball in the midfield. Audebert now takes over. Tried to slip it into the path of Kulusevski. Loses the ball as Idrissa Gueye brings it clear for Everton. Still there are signs of maybe Everton not necessarily finished in this contest, as McNeil out towards Iliman Ndiaye, the former Sheffield United player who they signed from Marseille. Here is Ndiaye, Senegalese international. On the overlap was Mykolenko, but Porro was alert to put the ball out of play for a throw.
By miles the best that ever looked in the entire game today, since they made those substitutions. It's amazing if you're a player, and it's not just the players that come on. Everyone else thinks, all right, we're having a go now. Good, let us off the leash a bit, and we'll have that go. And it's a release. And you can see quite a lot of players there suddenly feeling better and in a good position again.
And Jai fires it across. Vicario with the save, just then pats it down. It's going to be a double change, I think, for Tottenham. Sarr is also going to be coming on for Tottenham Hotspur. But the Everton fans, who've travelled in good number, as they always do, were making themselves just heard then. There's been a goal at Selhurst Park. Conor McNamara.
Breakthrough for West Ham. Crystal Palace 0, West Ham United 1. Thomas Souček finishing off a move that begun deep inside his own half by Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who'd recently come on as a substitute against his old club. He made up great ground. Bowen got it into the penalty area, and it sat up nicely for Souček, who finished low into the net. Crystal Palace 0, West Ham 1.
Crystal Palace, who finished last season by winning their last 4 games at Selhurst Park. They were looking to win 5 in a row for the first time in 23 years. However, they are behind. Cheltenham have also fallen behind as Wimbledon have taken the lead there in League 2 by a 1-0, and Newport County lead Accrington now 3-1, also in that division. In the Premier League here on 5 Live, the World Service and BBC Sounds, Spurs still leading 2-0 with those goals both in the first half from Basuma and Son. Out towards Johnson, controls it well, right-hand side. Held up though by Mikolenko, the left back, very tight behind him. Johnson has support from Porro. Trying to get a foot into the challenge is Njai. Back out it goes towards that right, level the area for Spurs. And now it's with Basuma to Romero. Every outfield player is in the Everton half towards our left-hand side.
Be interesting to see how Richarlison reacts when he comes on. Had a couple of looks at him when he was sitting before the game there and during the game, and he had a face like thunder. He was not happy that he was on the bench. But, you know, obviously he wants to play in this game. He knows he scores. He's a regular goal scorer in this game. It's against his old club. All that sort of stuff. But he also has to look at the players that are playing in front of him, who are all playing well.
Ball is chipped over into the area. Kulusevski directs it towards Maddison, lets it settle. Maddison still trying to get the shot away. That's blocked. Comes out towards Son on the stretch, controls it inside the D, looking to turn. Does well, Son. Was he tripped? The referee says yes. Direct free kick to Tottenham Hotspur.
Lovely play by Son, and that's the point about the attacking players. There's a lot of pace up there, but there's a lot of intelligence as well. Ball came to Maddison. He couldn't quite it wouldn't come down for him because he wanted to do a scissors volley kick. Didn't get a chance to do it, and well, there was a few chances as well for one or two players because they're going to make that change just now.
So Odobert is the first player to come off, signed for £25 million from Burnley, a debut that's lasted 66 minutes and gets a good ovation. Richarlison coming on as well, and it will be Kulusevski who is the other player to go off as Richarlison comes on against his former club. And this free kick inside the D, central, has Maddison and Son both eyeing it up as Kulusevski acknowledges the crowd. Spurs lead 2-0 as we approach the midway point of the second half.
Do you know what? Maddison wants that 3 yards further out. It's just a little bit closer than he would like it to get it up and down though. But if anyone's capable in this league, there's not that many more than Maddison, so again he'll be looking forward to this opportunity. It's a tough one for the goalkeeper as well though. Not going to see much in front of that goal, so I think we're pretty confident now it's going to be Maddison. What do you think? Clip over the top towards the near corner, goalkeeper's right.
He's having a good look. He's just having a word there with Basuma. Son has walked away. It will be Maddison. Everton have got everybody back inside the penalty area. Spurs lead by 2-0. Rangers have just rattled in a fourth at home to Ross County. Maddison waits. They've almost got 2 walls. There's a 4-man wall and then a 2-man wall. 2 Spurs players are standing in front of that as well. Wickham lead Rotherham by 1-0 in League One. Maddison now runs up, right-footed, goes for power and puts it wide. Goal at Southampton, Lee Blakeman.
And it's gone to Forest. Southampton 0, Forest 1. Corner sent in, wasn't dealt with. Fell to Morgan Gibbs-White, who sent in a pile driver. No chance for McCarthy to make it Southampton 0, Forest 1. Deservedly so too.
Colchester 0, Harrogate 1 is the latest score in League 2. You're up to date with the goals as they go in on BBC Radio 5 Live. He went for power rather than placement.
Yeah, just the last moment there he changed the angle of his run up, and I thought actually no, he's just going to go and try and smash it to the back post. But it was, as I say, far too close. He would rather it was further out.
It was West Ham leading at Selhurst Park. There's been another goal. Are they still ahead, or have Palace pegged them back? Connor.
They've doubled their lead. Crystal Palace 0, West Ham United 2. 2 goals within 6 minutes of each other. Jared Bowen this time. Wonderful counter-attacking football as Palace were committing numbers forward down the other end. Bowen picked it up midway inside the Palace half, got into the penalty area, and you know the rest. Crystal Palace 0, West Ham 2.
Consolation for Mansfield. Lincoln 4, Mansfield Town 1. Pickford out of his penalty area finds Tarkowski. Gay. Everton seeing a lot more of the ball.
That's what I'm saying. Since those changes, this is if they've been let off the leash. So there's a little bit more space there. There are more attack-minded players on the pitch just now. And it's a kind of freedom you get. Even though you're 2-0 down, the manager's basically saying, have a dig now, have a go now, go out and almost enjoy yourself. The game's lost, so try and do something special. You'll look much, much better. And all the Everton fans in here are thinking, well, why didn't you do that earlier? That's what they will think. Problem is, when you do that early on in the game, you lay space behind you, and that might have not worked either.
Just over 20 minutes remaining. The familiar voice of Pat Nevin with us on BBC Radio 5 Live. And Romero, up it goes to Richarlison, beaten in the air by Keane, picked up by Lindstrom, tackled and dispossessed by Udogie, forward ball by Basuma. Maddison slides it out towards the left. This is where Son now comes in off the touchline, and Dixon backpedals and needed the help of Tarkowski to usher the ball behind for a corner kick. There was a real purpose about Son there against Dixon.
Yeah, I mean, he's a young man he's up against there, a 19-year-old who's just playing his first game. But let's be absolutely fair about this. The kid's done really well, and he's been asked so many different questions against so many very, very different top-class players. You know what? He's rarely been found wanting. Well done, Dixon.
Chesterfield leads Salford City by 1-0 in League Two. They've had a dreadful start, have Salford City. In it comes from Maddison with a corner kick and a powerful header by Romero inside the 6-yard area, in off the underside of the crossbar. And Tottenham Hotspur with a third goal will now secure the 3 points. Christian Romero, on his 100th appearance today, celebrates with a goal.
And the way the ball was put in there, it wasn't floated, it wasn't really zipped in, but it was kind of floated, and he shouldn't have had that much time. However, here is the downside of making these changes and taking someone with the height of Decurio off. You've left it less in the middle there, and that height imbalance at the arrow. They made good use of it, and it was an easy head in the end.
Spurs lead Everton by 3-0. Everton's dreadful run away to Tottenham Hotspur continues, and just like he was last weekend, Pickford has conceded 3 goals in a game. Spurs on their way to victory. Cambridge United 3, Blackpool 4, a 7-goal thriller at the Abbey Stadium, and another goal in the Premier League. This time it's at Craven Cottage. Chris Coles.
Scored by Fulham, who now lead Leicester by 2-1. Alex Iwobi with it, well found, clean through, committed the goalkeeper Hermansen, who did get a touch but couldn't keep it out. Fulham 2, Leicester 1.
And Rangers running riot against Ross County. Gavin Wallace.
They are indeed, Deno. 2 goals in a couple of minutes. Matondo and Tom Lawrence, the 2 Welshmen combining. It was Tom Lawrence getting in on the act. Matondo played him through. He slid it beyond the goalkeeper, and just before you came to me, Matondo was there as well. It was a back heel in mid-air. It was something spectacular. Rangers running riot. It's Rangers 5, Ross County 0.
Udogie is down. Looks like Spurs are going to make a couple of more changes. We'll get an update in the cricket with Ellie Oldroyd.
It's tea at Old Trafford, England 82 for 3. This chase of 205 not straightforward. Harry Brook on 6, Joe Root on 13 will resume after the break, but they have lost Duckett for 11, Pope for 6 and Lawrence for 34. 123 more runs needed when they resume after the break.
Commentary, of course, on Sports Extra. Archie Gray and Jed Spence are on. It is Udogie and Basuma who have left the field of play.
And I would add on top of that, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's going off for Beto. That might seem like a small thing, but each time Dominic Calvert-Lewin goes off now, you've got to think, is that last time you'll see him in an Everton shirt? Because there is obviously interest. He's only got a year left in his contract, and that's something that Everton fans will be concerned about.
Yes, it will. Bearing in mind that Sean Dyche had said in his pre-match press conference earlier in the week, unlikely to be busy. They would certainly, you would think, in that sense, have to hold on to Calvert-Lewin as the ball is slid through to Beto. But Spence are on. Cambridge United 4, Blackpool 4. So what a fight back that is by Cambridge United, as Beto has wrestled Romero to the ground, and that'll be a free kick.
You say that about trying to keep the legs of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Yeah, you would love to. Had a look at his profit and loss in the balance sheet. That might not be a decision you want to make, but it might be a decision you have to make, considering Dominic Calvert-Lewin has only got a year left, and you would lose him for nothing if you kept him.
Yeah, he's approaching his 250 appearances for the club as well. Today was 249. Salford City, incidentally, are down to 10 men now as they trail out Chesterfield. Curtis Tilt has been sent off, and it's tilted in the favour of Hibs, who've turned it around. Hibs 2, Dundee 1 at Easter Road. 3-0 to Tottenham. Where will we go next then on 5 Live? It's the Etihad and Will Perry.
Manchester City 3, Ipswich 1. After a year away with Barcelona, İlkay Gündoğan is back at the Etihad on the pitch in Manchester City colours, and every City fan is on their feet with beaming smiles. His last touch in a City shirt, lifting the Champions League trophy. Manchester City 3, Ipswich 1.
Isn't that a great story? This is, that leaves a big smile on most football fans' faces. They often say do not go back. In this case, make an exception.
Who's smiling at Vicarage Road? Flo Pollock.
It's Watford who are smiling. Watford 2, Derby 1. They had a flurry of chances, and then Moussa Sissoko, the former Tottenham player, on his second spell at Watford, put it in. Watford 2, Derby 1.
That's their 13th goal of the season. They've won all 3 previous or prior to today against Derby. Barrow 2, Port Vale 0 is the latest score in League 2. We've got 15 minutes remaining, so we'll go through all the latest scores in the various divisions for you. Of course, we've got Sports Report coming up with Mark Chapman at 5, the results and the reaction before that commentary of Aston Villa against Arsenal. So in the Scottish Premiership, Dundee United, who've had a good start to life back in the Scottish top flight. They're leading St Johnstone at Tannadice by 1-0. Hibs 2, Dundee 1, Rangers 5, Ross County 0. Latest scores in League 2. The results in the early games: Crewe 0, Swindon 0. Tranmere beat Walsall by 1-0 at Prenton Park. Latest scores: Barrow 2, Port Vale 0. Bradford City are beating Bromley, who are down to 10 men, by 2-0. Cheltenham 0, Wimbledon 1, Chesterfield 1, Salford 0. Salford have had a man dismissed. Colchester United 0, Harrogate 1. Doncaster Rovers lead bottom of the table Morecambe, still yet to score a goal so far this season. Fleetwood 0, Gillingham 0, MK Dons 2, Carlisle 0, Newport County 3, Accrington 1. A try in the Rugby League, Richard Stead.
Yeah, it's 13 minutes to go here, Ian, and St Helens have got one back. Debutant George Whitby with the try. He converted it himself. Hull Kingston Rovers, though, home and hose. They lead 32 points to 6 here at St Helens.
No other latest scores, so we'll rattle through League 1 and the Championship. We'll just watch this latest attack by Everton. 3-0 down, 13 minutes remaining here as the ball goes into Irabunam, who comes forward, shows good strength, passes the ball to McNeil. McNeil and tries to thread it through towards Lindstrom, but brought out of defence, and stepping out of defence with real purpose and speed is Van der Ven. He's still going, Van der Ven, to the edge of the area. He finds Son. Son shoots. Son scores. Son with his second in the afternoon. But what a run by Van der Ven. He was unstoppable. He will claim the assist, and Spurs open up their campaign for the new season at home with a convincing 4-0 scoreline.
It's very rare you see that, isn't it? Very, very rare indeed. Centre-back winning the ball deep inside his own half and basically pinning his ear backs and going and going and going, and when he finally gets to the 18-yard line, still have the awareness and the power and the balance to play the correct ball. It must have been on his mind to go and have a shot himself, because that would have been one incredible goal. But no, he does absolutely the right thing. But it's almost like American football, quarterback breaks right on his own byline, keeps on going, just see if it's offside. Do not think it is. And Son puts it through Pickford's legs, and he's not enjoying himself today, Pickford, is he?
It tells you everything about that surging, powerful run, that Van der Ven's name is the name being chanted and not the goal scorer.
Oh, football fans, you underestimate them a year player. They know what that was. That was a nice finish. Son had plenty of them, but it was late in a play from a player. And if you think about how many centre-halves are capable of doing that in the top game, I'm not saying they haven't got the skill, but that power and that extraordinary pace, and then to have the comfort and the vision and also the power at the end of it to be able to play that pass, Brilliant play by Van de Ven. Well done, Spurs fans, noting it.
And Spurs have made a change. Lucas Bergvall has come on, the blonde-haired teenage midfielder who they signed for £8.5 million from Djurgardens. He's come on to replace Maddison. The results in League One earlier were Burton 0, Stevenage 0, Stockport County 2, Bristol Rovers 0. Dave Challoner's side absolutely flying, 3 wins out of 3. Latest scores in League One. Barnsley 2, Northampton 1, Cambridge 4, Blackpool 4. They were 4-1 down, were Cambridge. Charlton 1, Bolton 0, Exeter 1, Peterborough 2. Huddersfield leads Shrewsbury by a goal to 0, Leyton Orient 1, Birmingham City 2, Lincoln 4, Mansfield 1, Wigan 1, Crawley 0, Wrexham 3, Reading 0, Wycombe 1, Rotherham 0. So Charlton and Huddersfield looking to maintain their 100% winning starts to the season. The 3 results in the Championship from the early kickoffs were Bristol City 1, Coventry 1, Hull 0, Millwall 0, QPR 1, Plymouth 1. Wayne Rooney's side actually finishing with 9 men as Forshaw and Isaka were sent off. The latest scores in the Championship: Blackburn 1, Oxford 1, Middlesbrough 1, Portsmouth 2, Norwich 1, Sheffield United 1. Preston being managed now by Paul Heckingbottom in his first game. They lead Luton by a goal to 0. Stoke 1, West Bromwich Albion 2. In the top of the table clash, it's Sunderland who lead Burnley by a goal to 0. Watford 2, Derby County 1. So Sunderland and Watford will both have 3 wins out of 3 at the top of the Championship. Stoppage in play here and now in the sunshine in North London as we'll go to West London and Chris Coles.
Sun shining at Craven Cottage as well, where Fulham lead Leicester by 2 goals to 1. Fulham are by and large keeping quite sensible possession, but Leicester still carry their own threats, including Jordan Ayew, on for his Leicester debut, has just fired a free kick a couple of yards over the crossbar. 10 minutes to play, Fulham 2, Leicester 1.
What about Southampton, Lee Blakeman?
Southampton 0, Forest 1. It should be all over though. Ilanga's just burst into the area for Forest right side. Good shot, good save by McCarthy, and then McCarthy's also denied Hudson-Odoi from distance as well. Just the one in it. Southampton 0, Forest 1.
Selhurst Park, Conor McNamara.
Still Crystal Palace 0, West Ham United 2. Souček and Bowen with goals within 5 minutes of each other in this second half. Since going 2 down, Palace have missed a sitter. Jean-Philippe Mateta failing to tap it in with the goal at his mercy. Palace 0, West Ham 2.
We've had a lengthy stoppage here, still players yet to get back underway. Update now, the Etihad, Will Perry.
Manchester City 3, Ipswich 1. The urgency sucked out of this game just a little bit, but City, just where you were with me last time, relentless possession and pressure, camped on the edge of the Ipswich box, looking for a 4th. City 3, Ipswich 1.
Those loyal Evertonians have suffered some really tough seasons in recent times. It is an away end that is emptying quite quickly, a lot of empty spaces now. They haven't won a Premier League match in August in any of their last 3 seasons since they beat Brighton in 2021. And here they see them side looking at a bit of a heavy defeat as they trail by 4 goals to 0.
Yeah, and the Tottenham fans, although enjoying it, and basking now, and not only the sunshine, but the play that they've been able to watch and the goals that they've scored, they're not carried away because they know this will be a long way from the hardest test they're going to get this season. And that's the worrying thing for Everton, that now looking at 2 games in, 7-0, that's ugly, that's horrible. That's the sort of things that makes fans who have come a long way down here from the northwest, and I would say half of them have gone already, and that's at least 10 minutes worth of football if they played yet.
Yeah, and they're winless now in 12 on their travels since they went away at Burnley back in mid-December. So dreadful away form of late. Bradford City, there's been a goal at Valley Parade, and that's Premji.
Bradford City 3, Bromley 0. Bobby Poynton the substitute, low drive off the bench into the bottom corner. Bradford City 3, Bromley 0.
Blackburn Rovers 2, Oxford United 1 is the latest score in the Championship. Pickford clears it downfield, left-footed, and then volleyed away by Porro for Spurs, who go to Newcastle next Sunday. And then after the international break, they've got 2 London derbies. Brentford, who follow hot on the heels of a North London derby here on the 15th of September. Spurs, of course, you might recall last season under Ange Postecoglou, they took 26 points from their first 10 games in the Premier League. They then tailed off at the end of last season, missed out on Champions League football. Here they're leading Everton by 4-0 as Beto tries to get past Romero, but Romero too strong for him, helped out by Porro, and Tottenham deal with it, Pat.
They've defended really well. I mean, Van de Ven, we'll talk about him all day long because he's played so well, and there was a possibility it may have gone off near the end of the first half, but everything done has been absolutely spot on. But, you know, quietly, Romero, Porro, Udogie, they look so settled in that back line now. They're really hard to beat.
Wickham 2, Rotherham United 0 is the latest score in League One. What's the latest at Stoke, Pat Murphy?
Still Stoke 1, 2-1 down to West Brom. West Brom, rather unsubtle time wasting going on here. They might regret this. Kumas has hit the inside of the post as well as the post in the first half. At the moment, though, it's Stoke 1, West Brom 2.
Here is Richarlison, forward ball in the sunshine. I think that we started with grey skies and the rain. Now it's brightening up to a pleasant afternoon. Certainly is for Tottenham. Son to Spence on the overlap, left-hand side, early ball in, looking towards Richarlison. Cleared away by the Everton defence, picked up by Van de Ven, inside towards Sarr. Here is Archie Gray, who they signed from Leeds United. What a talent he is as well. Continuing the Gray dynasty. As Sarr now with Spurs, and there's very, very comfortable for them indeed.
He's got a look of Declan Rice about him, when the way he holds himself, you know, his stance, you know, always looking up at the play, and that's a very high compliment. It's a long way to go to keep up with Declan, but looks like a good player for Spurs. Another good addition, and young.
Son of Andy Gray, granddad was Frank, and his great nephew, the great Eddie Gray. And what a gentleman he is. The result in the Premier League earlier: Brighton and Hove Albion 2, Manchester United 1. 2 wins out of 2 for Brighton. Crystal Palace 0, West Ham 2, Fulham 2, Leicester 1, Manchester City 3, Ipswich 1, Southampton 0, Nottingham Forest 1, Tottenham 4, Everton 0 here. Aston Villa Arsenal, commentary to come at 5:30 with Chris Waddle and John Murray. 4 minutes remaining of normal time.
Can I underline that, you know, watching young Archie Gray there, I mean, a very, very good player, sitting in midfield. You know, Declan Rice is going to have that position for England for a long, long time. Does he have any Scottish roots? Don't worry.
I was going to say, don't worry, he's already playing for England's under-21s, but nowadays it means nothing as the ball is threaded through. As one of your Everton teammates, Stuart McCall, would testify.
Exactly.
I remember back in the day he was selected for England's under-21s. Yeah. Deliberately didn't play by taking his time to tie up his bootlace, didn't play for the under-21s and went on to be a Scottish international. Wickham 2, Rotherham United 0. Talking of Scottish voices, Kenny Crawford.
Yeah, we've had a red card here at Sunderland. It's Dan Neil, the Sunderland captain, who's gone. It was a bit of a strange one. No one really realised what had gone on. But Dan Neil has walked, so Sunderland down to 10 men. It was a second booking. Sunderland 1, Burnley 0.
Top of the table clash. Can Burnley take advantage late on with that extra man as Archie Gray? Tripped by McNeil. That'll be a free kick to Tottenham. Salford City have equalised late on in League 2. Chesterfield 1, Salford 1. Let's get an update in the Rugby League. Richard Stead.
St Helens misery continues. Ian, a red card for Tommy Makinson after a high shot on Hull Kingston Rovers' Tyrone May. 5.5 minutes to go to the Hooters. St Helens 6, Hull Kingston Rovers 36.
On a busy day of sport with the racing at the Ebor, the golf at St Andrews, the cricket going on at Old Trafford, commentary incidentally on Sports Extra, and the Rugby League and all the football. It'll be rounded up with Mark Chapman in Sports Report at 5 o'clock, and indeed we can go to St Andrews now. Ian Carter.
Nelly Corder cruising. She's just birdied the 9th to go 2 clear at 9 under par. Charlie Hull become, though, the British player 1 over par for the 10 holes she's played so far. At 4 under, she's 5 behind.
Charlton have got a second goal. They now lead Bolton Wanderers at the Valley by 2-0 to maintain their winning start to the season. 3 wins out of 3. Van de Ven trying to deal with the presence of Beto. Beto all over him. Van de Ven, not only does he have the pace, he has the strength to hold him off. He was superb.
You didn't for a millisecond think he was going to lose that ball. It was absolutely all over him. He was getting dragged back. It was all physicality, Beto. But did you think he was going to lose it? Absolutely not. He's had a super game today. A lot of good performances, but a long way. It'd be a long way to take Son's probably man of the match with 2 goals off him. But I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people went for Van de Ven.
£34.5 million signing from Wolfsburg, and a very good acquisition for Tottenham from last season. So, let's get news of that second Charlton goal from Rich Wolfenden.
Charlton 2, Bolton 0, and it's a substitute, the new signing Matty Godden, with a brilliant diving header to seal the points for Charlton. Their 100% record in the league looks set to continue. 2-0.
A day maybe for Evertonians to forget, with the exception of Harrison Armstrong, the 17-year-old midfielder who's just had a pat on the back from Sean Dyche because he's going to be coming on for his Everton debut. Signed a 3-year deal in the summer, joined the academy at the age of 5. His dreams are about to be realised with 60 seconds remaining here in this impressive venue as Spurs win another corner kick. Dundee United 2, St Johnstone 0 is the latest score.
Well, Armstrong's not going to get let on just now because it's a corner kick against him. You generally don't make a change in that situation.
Bergvall to take the corner, flicked on by Sarr. There is appeals for handball by Richarlison. Referee Anthony Taylor was looking through a rather crowded penalty area. Bromley have got a goal back at Valley Parade. Bradford City 3, Bromley 1 is the latest score in League 2. Sports report coming up. We're going to find out how much added on time there will be. Just a little word in the left ear from Steve Stone for the youngster. And Harrison Armstrong is going to be coming on. And the player who is going to be going off for Everton is Idrissa Gana Gueye.
I mean, you add that on top of the fact that Dixon, getting his opportunity right back is just now. And I mean, certainly Dixon hasn't let himself down in any way. And I think what Sean Dyche is aware of now, it's got a very limited squad, considering the numbers that they've got there as well. They're going to have to use these young players as the season goes on. So, imperative, even though 4-0 down, got to blood them.
So he comes on, he's tall, quite lean, light brown cropped hair. Dundee United have equalised at Easter Road. Hibs 2, Dundee 2, MK Dons 3, Carlisle United 0 are latest scores. News of that Bromley goal at Valley Parade from Naz.
Yeah, Bradford 3, Bromley 1. Byron Webster, late header. It's not going to make much difference, I don't think. Bradford 3, Bromley 1.
5 Live Premier League Sunday tomorrow. Wolves against Chelsea at 2, followed by Liverpool Brentford at 4:30. Bournemouth Newcastle at 2 o'clock. Commentary online on the BBC Sport website. Spurs lead here 4-0. And Jai inside, ball cut back and fired over by Armstrong. Got into a good position in the penalty area, and then it cannoned away off the knees behind for a corner by Romero. Before the corner, a goal at Manchester City. Will Perry.
Manchester City 4, Ipswich 1, and Erling Haaland has his first hat-trick of the season. He only got 4 last campaign. It's from long range, and it's into the bottom left-hand corner. Haaland with the match ball. City are going to win this 4-1.
Everton looking for a consolation. Barrow have just got a 4th goal against Port Vale from the corner. Spurs looking to break. Porro hits it out towards Son on that far side. He's on a hat-trick. As Middlesbrough have got a late equaliser in the Championship. Middlesbrough 2, Portsmouth 2. And their new signing from Bristol City, Tommy Conway, has scored from the penalty spot. Pat.
Just intriguing to watch Everton just now. Look, they've been well beaten today by a good Spurs side. And Everton fans will be kind of distraught just now the way their start has been laid out before them, with 7 goals against and none for. However, looking at Ndiaye, he looks like a real find, an absolute find. There's no doubt the right fullback, the youngster who's come on, Dixon, he's done really well today. When you moved McNeil into the centre of the midfield, he looks like a better player in that position as well. And you've just brought on another sort of young player in Armstrong in the midfield as well. Now, these may feel like, you're just grasping at straws, but they've actually looked like a better team since they've made these changes, although they haven't got anything out of it. They've certainly created 1 or 2 more chances.
It's finished at Selhurst Park as a result. Crystal Palace 0, West Ham United 2. Rangers have scored a 6th goal against Ross County. 6-0 they lead then in the Scottish Premiership. Full-time scores are coming in thick and fast. We've got Sports Report with the results and the reaction to come. Birmingham City have beaten Leyton Orient 2-1 as Mikolenko runs forward, and Jai Ozuri on that far side, and off the flag goes up, offside on this near side. How important was it for Tottenham, bearing in mind that many felt that they threw away the potential for 3 points at Leicester on Monday to get the victory here today?
Vastly important, because they like to start games very, very fast, but they like to start competitions. Certainly Ange Postecoglou, he wants to start a season really, really quickly, get a lot of points on the table. Last season was a brilliant start for them, and you can ride that wave for a long, long time. And the fact that they let that opportunity go last week against Leicester, they haven't let it go. They've never looked like letting it go here. And you just look at they've got options. And to me, I mean, you're not going to find out until they play, the top 4, 5, 6 teams in the league how good they are. But at the moment, he's got a lot of options, particularly up front. And that's without his big signing Solanke being available today.
Yes, Solanke injured, picked up that knock, unable to play. I'm sure he would have looked at an opportunity here today against an Everton side struggling at the start of the season to maybe open his account after those chances he couldn't take on Monday. But 4-0 for Tottenham, and his absence, Son has contributed with 2 goals. That actually takes his tally now to 164 for Tottenham. He's within 10 of joining Martin Chivers in 4th place in the all-time scoring charts for Tottenham Hotspur. Huddersfield Town have won, so they've maintained their 100% winning start at the top of League One. Stockport earlier had beaten Bristol Rovers by 2-0. In the top of the table clash, the 10 men of Sunderland held on. They've beaten Burnley by 1-0 as we are into the last few seconds here. And it's been a troubling start to the season for Everton, Pat, your former club.
If you look at it in the start results, it does look really bad just now. And hey, do not hide the fact that it is concerning, and a lot of Everton fans will be furious about it. But at the moment, you realise that they've been a couple of tough ones. A weird one last week, they kept 10 men. There's not many positives. There's 1 or 2 little ones to take care of. But this is an Everton side that's going to try and survive this season. It's not going to be more than that once again.
Well, there is the full-time whistle, and Tottenham Hotspur have got their first clean sheet at home in 16 attempts, so that Premier League record will not be extended, as they've got themselves off to a resounding victory. Basuma with a cracker after 14 minutes. Dreadful error by Pickford, gifted Son the second. 2-0 they led at half-time. Romero with a powerful header off the other side of the crossbar, and then after a storming run by Van der Ven, finished off by Son for his second.
To be honest, that was the highlight of the game. There were many good things that happened today. Maddison was in fabulous form again, and that creativity for Spurs was the thing you look forward to when you come here to this brilliant stadium. However, Van der Ven, when we walk away from here, we think back 5, 6, 7 weeks and even longer than that, that crazy horse run from centre-back is the thing that will stick in your mind, and it was a delight to see. He's a special player. This is special, and it's interesting to see what Ange Postecoglou will add between now and the end of the transfer window. Do you know what? Up front, nothing much needed.
Well, thank you as ever to Pat Nevin. It's finished here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs 4, Everton 0.